The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93
Good morning.
First of all, welcome to the show.
Happy Friday. It's almost the weekend, isn't it? Maybe it'll be sunny.
Britney Spears' most iconic looks have been immortalized in a new Fisher-Price figurine set. It's the perfect gift for any little girl who is a man and 40. The United Kingdom. A Gatwick train was canceled after squirrels boarded and refused to leave. While here in New York, the 7 train was driven by a pile of rats in a conductor hat.
The National Toy Hall of Fame last week announced this year's finalists for induction into the museum, while Dads announced the finalists for the National That's Not a Toy Hall of Fame. First inductee, the thermostat. Researchers in New Zealand have discovered a new species of shark called the narrow-nosed spookfish. Said the shark, "Hey, what the hell, man?"
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Don't worry, be happy.
No.
I remember this one. Back in 88, this was a big hit. Don't Worry, Be Happy by Bobby McFerrin. We welcome everyone to the show. Oh, we're going to wrap her up after this one here, aren't we, Cubby?
Yeah, this is it. Today is our Friday.
We're going to wrap her up after this here broadcast. Wrap it up tight. And try and forget that the sumbitch ever happened at all. Welcome all wonderful people to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Oh, we're planning on having a lot of our regular Friday nonsense on display today. Starting up at around 7:30. A chat with Vikings long snap pimp, Andrew DePaula. Purple Pick'em. You say it, Wample.
Purple Pick'em.
That's where a listener piles onto the airwaves with us to make some score predictions for this Sunday's game. I believe the matchup is Minnesota on one side and Green Bay on the other.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yep.
It is a border bash. A division rival. Lot gets made of this game each year. Twice a year, I guess.
People just fall down and molest themselves over this one. They do.
Families split up.
Oh,
after
God.
weekends like this.
Tell us the dramatic stories of the families that are shattered on this weekend.
You lived in a home that was a Packer. Well, I guess, can I call you a Vikings fan? At one point in your life, you were a Vikings fan.
You're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, so you had...
But when I was involved with a Packer enthusiast, at that point in my life, I had lost really almost all interest in the National Football League. So it's certainly, well, wait a minute. I've had 2 relationships where on the other side of things.
Oh, really? Now?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't remember so obviously one prior to the one I'm thinking
Yes. And I had forgotten all about it, for Christ's sake. My ex-wife.
of. I didn't know she was a Packer fan.
Yes. Yeah.
She seems so dignified.
Right. I know, you couldn't see it on the surface. So where I was going with this is, okay, I've had 2 relationships where the lady in the relationship was a Packer fan. The most recent, I had pretty much separated myself from the NFL. I make it pretty clear on this show, and I make it clear as often as I can. The National Football League, in my opinion, it just isn't what it used to be. A lot of what I grew up loving about the game is gone. So, when I was involved with that Packer fan, it really didn't piss me off one way or the other. But my ex-wife, yes, that was when I was young, and I was a feverish NFL fan.
You said before that a Vikings loss would taint your week.
Yes. When I was young, especially when they played Green Bay or Chicago, if the Vikings lost, I would be pissed. I would lash out at people.
Your godson's that way. He takes after his godfather.
Okay, he does.
Oh, yeah, it'll affect him big time.
So, yeah, way back when I was young, my first marriage, that could be difficult at times. She and her whole family, well, minus her brother. Her brother was a true blue Viking fan. You know, they all grew up here. But my ex-wife and her parents fell head over heels in love with the Green Bay Packers in the mid-'90s because they became friendly with the Favre family.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. I was trying to figure out the Wisconsin connection.
Yes.
So that's it.
Yes. Well, they spent a lot of their time down in Mississippi, where the Favre family is from. So that's how it started. They got in relatively tight with the Favres, and then here comes Brent slinging touchdown passes, and he's the greatest thing since canned beer, and then they really fell head over heels. So, yeah, there were some tough, frustrating days for me, and arguments.
Yeah, I mean, there's a split home. I mean, this was pre-crazy political division amongst families, right?
Yes.
I mean, the old Packer-Viking rivalry seemed like it was way more severe back in the day.
Oh, no doubt.
But there's a home that's divided in my neighborhood, and it's not necessarily crazy uncomfortable these weekends, but you can tell there's a little less communication between both sides.
Yeah.
I have a good buddy of mine. I'm going to call him the biggest Packer fan I've ever met. His entire home, and I'm not exaggerating, anything you can buy that has Packers on it, he has it.
That's how they friggin' do it.
All his decorations, he has a lazy boy that's all packed out. I mean,
everything from tinsel to tampons.
It's crazy.
It's got to have a Green Bay logo on it. Everything from their tinsel to their tampons.
Is there another fan base? College, I know, can get that way too. College fans, sports fans. Is there another professional sports fan base that's like that? I mean, I don't travel anywhere, so obviously I'm going to see Viking Packers stuff, but I see in Minnesota,
yes.
I see way more Packers stuff than I do Viking stuff as far as the amount one person might own.
Another fan base that has every knick-knack, your toilet paper, your bedspread. Yes, the New York Yankees.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think there's some Cowboy fans that are that way.
Dallas Cowboys.
That's a good one.
Ohio State, friggin' Buckeyes. Yeah, there are others.
Oh, the Ohio State. Get out of here.
Oh, you don't like that?
I hate that.
That gets Wapple mad. We've gotten in some. I've been in a couple bar fights with Wapple over the Ohio State University. He hates that.
I'm not from Ohio State. I'm from the Ohio State.
I kind of like that bit.
Get out of here. Pretentious.
You know what? You've been staying up late. I'll take that abuse.
I'll give you another one. North Dakota State. Their football fans will not leave the house on game day unless they are covered head to toe in bison gear. Did I tell you the story? I don't know what the hell I was doing. I was out of town for something. Maybe it was a wedding. This was a few years ago. I'm staying at one of those hotels. Have you been?
Mm-hmm. I've heard of them.
Yeah.
And it was one of those deals where I had a couple hours to kill before I had to get to my destination. So I'm going to spend some time in the hotel bar. Saturday afternoon, I walk into the hotel bar. There's, 50 people in the hotel bar, all wearing green and gold North Dakota State bison. I think I have the right colors and team. Okay, right. Everybody but me. And what I didn't know, whatever town I was in, North Dakota State's football team was playing in that town. So everyone, all the North Dakota State fans who did not have a ticket to the game were watching the game in that hotel bar, staying at that hotel. So I walked in, sat down, didn't say a word, ordered a Steve Weiser, but I couldn't help myself. When the game went to commercial, I turned to the crowd and I said, "Who's playing?"
Who are you rooting for?
I was thinking, who's your fans? Also
Indiana.
would be a big one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're Packer fans, though, they bring it to a much more annoying and frustrating level.
Yeah, I could. For me, that's the most passionate fan base of friends of mine, where they have the most gear.
Thinking back to what you originally brought up, where families have some static when border battle games happen. The announcers on television drive you crazy with it because they play the same tune every. They'll say it on Sunday, I guarantee it. Mom's a Viking fan. Dad's a Packer fan.
They always do that.
It's crap now. At this point, you've heard it so many times it makes you sick. But it is true. And to think back to those old days now, again, I'm 25, 6 years old. I absolutely live and die with the Minnesota Vikings. And now I'm having to commiserate with these Packer enthusiasts. And, I mean, the truth is, I should have grown up, you know. Grow up, pal. I never should have taken it so personally, right? But I did. And, you know, at one point or another, I ended up meeting Brent. You know, a couple times we crossed paths because of my ex-in-law's connection to his family. And, you know, I was kind of a dick about it.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't just respect?
No.
Really?
No. I was kind of a dick about it. Hey, there's Brent. You want to go meet him? I don't know.
Not really, no.
You know, that I should have grown up, but I couldn't. Not at that time. But I'll tell you what, I had one moment. There was one moment way back in those days where it was maybe the closest I've come to death. But I couldn't help myself. So one afternoon, we decide we're going to watch the Packer-Viking game in a bar down in Mississippi now. In a bar. It was in or near Brent Favre's hometown, right? And I'm going to go there. And, you know, here I am, this stubborn, angry, young Viking fan. And maybe some of you remember this. If you're an older Viking fan, maybe you remember this. This is like 97, 98. So there I am in this Mississippi Roadhouse watching the Vikings and Packers. And I am the only. I wasn't wearing any Viking stuff. I didn't bring any with me. It was a trip to Mississippi. It's not like, oh, I better bring my Vikings hoodie, right? I was dressed like a normal person. But everyone else in the bar is head to toe Green Bay because we are in Favre territory. They were so proud of him, and why wouldn't they be? He'd become a big star. So, some of you Viking fans might remember this. It was a game at Lambeau Field. The Packers had a wide receiver at the time named Antonio Freeman. He was very good. The Vikings had a defensive back at the time named Corey Fuller. And in this game, early in the game, eventually I'm sure Green Bay won, 41-7. They used to whoop the piss out of the Vikings usually back then, especially at Lambeau. We usually could sneak out a win here at home, but at Lambeau they'd get slaughtered by Favre. So early in the game, when it was still a tight ball game, I wonder if you can find this on YouTube. Antonio Freeman catches a pass, and he's heading towards the end zone, and all he's doing is looking behind him at the Viking who's chasing him. He never looked forward. Big mistake. Josh, you have a kid that plays youth football. You got to keep your head on a swivel.
Right.
He's constantly, Freeman, looking behind him at the players that's chasing him. He never sees Corey Fuller coming. And this was back in the day when you could full speed launch yourself and the crown of your helmet into the jaw of a player. And Fuller hit Freeman so hard, I was convinced, oh my God, thankfully, he's dead.
I just watched that play. It's on YouTube. And yeah,
really?
I do remember this now. And he got up, or no, he didn't get up right away. No, excuse me. He's still down.
I thought that
still
Freeman,
after all this time?
They just left the body there.
Wow. You found it on YouTube?
You should send that to me so I can post it on the website.
Send that to me because I haven't seen it. So anyway, I had kept my composure, not trying to start up that bit, but I had kept a low profile up to that point. I didn't show the crowd at all at the bar that I was supporting the Vikings because who wants that trouble, right? 125 Packer fans against me. But when I was convinced that Corey Fuller had just killed Antonio Freeman on the football field, I stood up and I said, yeah! Oh, yeah! You dumb bastard! Oh, I hope you're dead, you son of a bitch!
Oh.
Woo! I couldn't help it. And everyone with me is going, sit the hell down, are you crazy? And the crowd is like, hey, what the hell's the matter with you? Hey, shut up. Hey. I couldn't help it, I went nuts.
I wonder if there was someone in a similar situation when Anthony Barr decided that he didn't like the collarbone of what's the gas bag?
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I wonder if there's somebody in your situation who did the same thing.
Oh my!
I hate this collarbone. Smash.
Oh, I kept it under wraps until that play was so exciting that I couldn't help it. I stood up and made it very well known that I was here to see the Vikings win. In the end, like I said, I believe the Vikings were slaughtered, and every character in that bar gave me a piece of their mind on the way out of the joint. But I was fine with that. Okay, did someone send me that video?
I emailed it to you, yep.
That dude got leveled. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm so excited to see this again. So the Anthony Barr gas bag moment, you mentioned that, Josh. Mm-hmm. Was anyone else at that game?
No.
I was at that game, and I loved it. I mean, how could you
you got a great story about that, don't you?
Dude,
I forgot about this.
Dude, that was so funny. So, yeah, I mean, how could you not love it? The gas bag gets broken in half.
Oh, yeah.
Here at the new Metrodome. And, you know, I'm sitting there. I enjoyed it, of course. Packer fans were deathly silent and just sitting stunned. I'm sorry, I got to take a minute. I got to see this hit that Fuller put on Freeman. Oh, my God! It's just as beautiful as I remember it. Oh, my God. No wonder I shot out of my chair, man. God help us all. That's so great. Vikings fans, you got to watch this video. Oh, my God.
That's fun.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. When the ball comes out, it kind of looks like that might have been his head.
Honestly,
no, his head just came off. Oh, I bet that hurt. Poor guy.
That just brought me back near 30 years or whatever, however old I am now. Anyway, so at the gas bag Anthony Barr game, after that collarbone or whatever it was went shooting across the field, all the Packer fans are silent in their chairs. They're not saying a word, and I'm just loving every second of it. You know, that was, I kind of got a little bit of that old Viking fan back, you know, in me. You know what even though that was a time when I didn't care nearly as much as I did when I was 20 years old, that fired me up. So, this hilarious Viking fan walking down the aisle of our section, he had been up in the concourse getting a beer, all the way from the top of the aisle, all the way down to his seat, like in the fifth row. Every Packer fan he could find, he'd tap on their shoulder and go, I was up getting a beer. What happened? What did I miss? And most of the Packer fans would just, you know, make an angry face and turn away and ignore him. Then he'd move on to the next one. Hey, sorry to bother you. I was up getting a beer. What happened?
That's awesome.
That is a terrible feeling when your star player goes down, so I feel bad for him because I think we've all been in that spot.
That was so awesome. He taps on the next guy's shoulder. How come Green Bay's got the backup quarterback in? What happened? Did something happen? I was up getting a beer. God, that was good.
What happened to Rodgers? Where did he go?
I could watch the replay of this Fuller hit on Antonio Freeman for the rest of the weekend.
It's up on 93x.com if people want to check it out.
Oh, God. How does somebody survive that?
Woo! Those were the days, man.
Back to team pride. So more locally, city-wise, I think people from Rosemont are the most proud of their towns.
Are they?
Do you have other examples? Like a lot of gear they wear.
Rosemont? I guess they don't have cable or anything down there?
Yeah, I think they've got cable. But yeah, like you see a lot of the Irish stuff.
I don't think people in
Maybe
Rosemont
just because I
have.
live close by. But I see that quite a bit. Is there other towns you can think of where there's
Edina.
Yeah, Edina. They take themselves pretty seriously.
Edina's the ultimate answer to that question. As far as local towns, oh, hell yes.
A lot of hometown pride.
Even White Bear.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely White Bear. They're
the Bears
stupid
on the yard?
Bears.
Yeah.
So stupid.
How is that stupid?
I hate the Bears.
I can't believe you hate the Bear.
I've always hated them. They're like stupid. They have like an actual bear store downtown where you can get those stupid bears from.
White Bear Lake rules. It always has ruled.
I'm a hater.
Yeah, I guess so. I like. Stillwater. That's a good one.
Oh,
yeah.
definitely, yes.
Very good. Very good.
The ponies. Here's a text from Cheesehead Jesus. He wants equal opportunity in this conversation about the Packers and Vikings rivalry, and he says, let's go back and talk about the time that Antonio Freeman caught a touchdown pass literally off the ass of a Vikings defensive back. I can't remember his name. I remember his name, Cheesehead Jesus. I'm going to tell you right now. Chris Dishman. I remember that game very well. I think it was the 2000 season. Chris Dishman. So there you go. A little something for you Packer backers.
Yeah, I'm glad that he texted that in. You're right. We got to have a little equal opportunity there. Got a few Bears fans in my life, too. I don't really know how it happened. It's kind of like...
Chicago, you mean?
Yeah.
Not White Bear Lake.
Yeah, sorry. I thought that was clear. But yeah, so Dana, you've become a Bills fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a couple friends who, for some reason, became Bears fans over the last decade.
Well, it happens, I guess. Dana, can you explain that? You're the one who seems to just have a flavor of the month football team.
This is the only flavor I've ever really had. And I was like you. I never really cheered. Well, no, I'm talking about you.
You don't need to defend it all over again.
Oh, no,
it's okay.
I'm just saying, like, it's
just like to break your balls.
I know. It's fun.
My dad was a Bears fan, like out of nowhere for a couple of years.
No family connection?
Nope. He just was sick of the Vikings, and he's like, you know what? I'll pick the Chicago Bears. And at the time, they were just trash. I was like, why would you pick them out of everybody?
Another very passionate fan base right there, too.
He picked somebody else now, though. I can't
really
remember who it
bouncing
is.
around.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
I don't know. I don't understand how you do that. Like, how do you pick another team? I mean, never. Dana, yeah, you don't have to defend it, I guess. But it's just something I've never considered.
Yeah, same here.
I don't freaking know.
Oh, speaking of the Vikings-Packers rivalry, the family's divided. Nick, this will probably drive you crazy because it's a little too cutesy. But my friends got married recently. One's a Vikings fan, one's a Packer fan. And instead of having a guest book that people sign their name on, they had a custom half-and-half jersey made with their last name on it and had everybody sign it at the reception.
That's super cute.
That's stupid.
It's kind of funny. Well, how was the concert last night? A few people are texting in saying it was wonderful.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Tell us about it.
Who was in town last night?
It was Sleep Theory, Nothing More, Wage War, Chevelle, and Godsmack.
How much of that did you actually see?
I saw up until Godsmack. I did not see at all.
Because that's a poke.
Yeah, It was a very long time. And then I got there at 5 o'clock. So
Ooh.
then I got out of there at 10.
You made your little stage announcements. You had a couple free beers backstage.
Yeah.
And Dana, you had an experience we were just talking about yesterday that one of the worst things about those announcements is kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on, and you ran into that yesterday.
Those is roadie still the technical term, or do they go by stage crew or something? The roadies.
I think stagehand or something.
Yeah, they work long days.
The word is roadie.
Yeah, the roadies, they work long days and long hours, and by the time the show starts, they're stressed and they're crabby, and they're doing the turnover between Wage War and Chevelle, getting Chevelle's stage set up, testing the guitars, and I could tell that something was going wrong, that it wasn't going as smoothly as they wanted. And we're coming up to the time where I was supposed to go do a stage announcement, and the stagehand grabs the roadie and says, hey, man, he's got to get up there and do a stage announcement. And I can't even repeat anything that he said. A lot of F-bombs, a lot of no way anyone's going up there. I don't give a bleep what radio station it is. We got to get these guys bleeping on stage. He might have set the Guinness Book of World Records for most F-bombs in a 45-second tirade.
And you're just standing there like, hey, man, I was just told to do this.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm happy to leave.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're like, I'm getting up there. This is my time to shine.
Dana just runs without a microphone up there.
Dana shared some of the words and the colorful way this gentleman used them off air, and man, that guy must have been in a mood.
If that was me, I would have cried.
And then so the stage guy, who's a great guy named Hollywood, he turns to me and goes, hey, I'm really, really sorry about this. I'm like, it's one less thing for me to do. I went running up to Waffle. I'm like, Waffle, one of my things got canceled.
I just looked at him and I'm like, you son of a bitch.
How long?
I got 3 of them. The boss surprised me with an extra one. I was like, no.
Oh, I love when that happens.
And how long were you just waiting? Dana.
Oh, I'd been standing there for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Just standing there next to our new promotions guy, Chet, and we're just kind of looking at each other, looking at our clocks, like, I don't think this is going. I texted the boss, too, and I said, hey, just, they ran out of time. Please don't think I was, in the back doing rails with one of the bands and missed the stage announcement. They just straight up canceled it on me.
It's always a problem.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That Hollywood dude, though, he was so freaking nice. Super nice. And, I was talking to him backstage. He was going on tour with Mastodon. He went on tour with Iron Maiden a little bit, Metallica. And he went down to Sao Paulo, Brazil, and did, those tours and stuff with them. It was insane what he was saying.
Scream for me, Brazil.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That dude's got some stories, I bet.
Oh, yeah. He said he had to get up on stage one time and tell the fans that it was going to be a little bit longer than they needed, and he had stuff chucked at him.
Oh, I bet.
Well, yeah, sorry that happened to you, Dana.
Oh, it's quite all right.
But I'm glad a story came out of there. That is pretty funny.
That was great. Because we were just talking yesterday about how those guys, they run a little high-strung.
Oh, their job is so stressful.
It is. And they've got to have, it's got to be precision, the timing. And when you see it all backstage with 5 bands and the amount of stuff and load in and load out, it's much bigger than just plugging in a guitar and an amp and going up there playing a tune.
And then it got worse for Chevelle because... So they were going to play one more song, and he's like, yeah, we got one more song. Got time for one more song. And they're like, yeah, okay, go for it. And then they started playing, and then the curtain for Godsmack drops halfway down over the stage. And then another minute later, it just completely drops, and I look backstage, and everyone's just frantically running. It was so funny.
One band shut the other down?
I think someone leaned on a button or hit something that they weren't supposed to.
No, I don't think so. I bet that was... Wait a minute. Who was on stage?
Chevelle.
Who was coming up next?
Godsmack.
It was Godsmack doing that.
He said, all right, boys, let's wrap this thing up.
Wrap it up.
I've seen that before.
Sully Ernest back there hitting the button.
Yeah, just... doop.
I've seen that before where the what do they call it in the business? The headliner says, no, that's enough. They'll pull the plug and shut the lights off whenever they feel like it. They're the headliner. So I doubt that was anybody accidentally leaning on anything.
That happens with comedians, too.
Oh, uh-huh.
I've heard about that. There's one at like Acme or something. They've got a red light that goes on, like, hey, you got to wrap it up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'd heard there's a particular comedian who would hit that light when he was tired of somebody up there. It wasn't his job, but he would do it.
Oh, I'm glad you guys had a good time last night. We hope to have a good time with our program this morning. What did I miss? You know what I never got to? I never got to what else we have cooking this morning. I did mention Purple Pick'em. What else did I mention? Oh, Andrew DePaul.
We brought up Depot.
Yeah, right.
And we got one more part of it.
Yeah, right. We're also we're gonna try out another edition of Who Dis. Do you have the Who Dis music over there, Wapple?
Oh, I don't.
We'll get to it. Who Dis.
I'm looking forward to this one. This will be fun.
If you don't know the gimmick, we've tried it a few times. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, who of course will be joining us at 7:30. They have no idea who we're going to drag onto the telephone. And through a series of yes or no questions, Randy and Brad will try to figure it out. Who dis? Andrew DePaula will be on the line. Maybe he can give some assistance as well. So we got plenty to do. By damn, we want to get it over with as quick as we can. It's Friday, for Christ's sake. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
Are you looking to improve your work-life balance with excellent benefits like 401k match and even tuition reimbursement? Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
Every week, Michael Rosenbaum is getting deep with someone new on the Inside of You podcast.
Let's get inside of Zach Braff. What is one piece of advice you wish you received early on in your career?
That if you don't go all out for every single audition 10,000 people are, that I can just tell you, if you're an actor listening, that your lottery ticket is very limited. The other people have a whole lot more lottery tickets.
That is profound.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, yeah. We'll get her cooking here. We will. Let's say you want a baby. And you don't want to go through all the worn-out methods of making one the old-fashioned way. Just keep your eyes and your ears open. There are folks out there who will sell you they babies. They will. And there's some damn good deals to be had out there. Damn good deals.
Even with inflation and all that? You can still find a bargain on a baby?
All of that. Even with all of that, Josh. Absolutely. Here's a mom and dad down there in Arkansas. who apparently tried to sell. What did they have here? Oh, a little infant, 2-month-old baby type of a character, right? They tried to sell it in trade for $1,000 and some beers.
Wow, that's a bargain.
Yeah, what did I tell you?
Yeah. That's a lot cheaper than I was expecting, though.
$1,000 and then throw in some...
I'd flip that.
Some Steve Weisers. How do you flip?
Smart. Yeah.
What does it mean to flip that?
I would buy that baby. I'd clean it up real good. And I'd sell it. I'd sell it for like $10,000.
I see what you mean. Flip this baby.
Yeah.
No, that's going to be a new show. Like, flip this house.
Yeah.
Flip this baby.
Why Josh quit radio?
That's almost
baby flipping.
This happened in a place called Benton County, Arkansas. Cops were called to a joint called the Hideaway Campground in Arkansas. Oh, sounds nice.
Sounds like you can't find it.
The Hideaway Campground in Arkansas.
Kind of sounds scary, actually.
Oh, it sounds like a beautiful place. I don't know what you're...
Like the setting for a horror movie.
Some dirty snitch reported to the cops that a 21-year-old feller named Darian Urban and his 20-year-old you want to do it, Josh?
Girlfriend.
His 20-year-old girlfriend. So this couple, one's 21, one's 20. Okay, dude's name is Darian. By God, she goes by the name of Shailene. The snitch told the police that Darian and Shailene tried to give up their baby to someone there at the campground for a 6-pack of beer and then also $1,000.
You know, it's terrible as this is. There's decent odds that that baby's going to be much, much better off.
Yeah.
Getting away from somebody who would do something like that.
Charles, a listener in our audience by the name of Charles, says his dad was going to trade him for a boat motor until his mother stopped him. What is this now? When the cops showed up, so the cops showed up because someone called them about this baby sale. The cops say everyone at the campground was apparently, quote, heavily intoxicated. At one point, earlier in the night, Shailene, who is the mother of the 2-month-old baby, she told somebody at the campground binge drinking party that they were hosting, she said, having 3 dogs and a baby, not working for me, she said.
Never once considered getting rid of the dogs, eh?
And she said she would hand over the child for $1,000. Do I have any takers? She said. And she found a taker. There was one particular dude at the party who said he could give her a cashier's check for $1,000 come Monday. And this is just beautiful. The drunks even wrote up some kind of form to try and make the deal official, or as Ashley says with her odd Canadian accent, official. The letter said, I, Darian Urban, and Shailene Ellers are signing our rights over to our baby for $1,000, and they dated it September 21st, 2024. The letter was signed by mom and dad and included a disclaimer. And that disclaimer said, after signing this, I want to make this straight because this is a big part of the story. Okay, here it is. The disclaimer, which was written up by mom and dad, said, after signing this, there will be no changing y'all's minds. And
wrote that in there.
And you may never contact us again.
What in the world?
No changing y'all's minds, just like you see in legal documents, right?
All the
John?
time.
Mm-hmm.
I read the disclaimer on a new credit card, and it said just that. Y'all's best be paying that interest now.
Right.
Go on, get out of here.
The couple said they plan to legalize the adoption on Monday.
That's a new level of dumb right there.
Mm-hmm. Now, folks hanging out at the Hideaway campground there in Arkansas who witnessed this catastrophe, they told the cops that the baby had a bad ammonia and fecal odor, but that smell also could have been coming off mom and dad. The couple were both arrested. The baby was handed over to campground security. No, I'm kidding. I don't know where the baby went. Like Josh said, anywhere is better than where it was.
Yeah.
So everybody at the campground was drunk. Imagine, and we've all done regrettable things, and we wake up in the next morning like, oh, what'd I do? Imagine waking up and like, did I buy a baby yesterday?
We've all made impulse purchases while intoxicated.
Wait, did I? Yeah, I bought a baby. Damn. Where'd it go?
I guess this is my life now.
Oh, wow.
You know, there's so many good couples out there that are trying so hard to have a kid, and then these morons, they can just have one and sell one.
Yeah, piles of them.
That's not right.
I bet that wasn't they only, baby. All right. Sure, you've heard all about drinking and driving, but we're going to go this way. Drinking and driving and cocaine. Someone or another behind the wheel in Colorado. I think it was a lady, so I'm going to go with that.
Yep.
This lady was so gooned on booze and booger sugar, she had an attack of paranoia behind the wheel. She called the police. One night here recently, she was driving around Colorado.
I didn't know that was by the way, we just learned Colorado is the number one place in the U.S. for cocaine.
Yeah, I think we blamed it on downhill skiers.
So I didn't realize that is that known to make you paranoid? I've never heard that about cocaine.
I don't know.
No,
I've
I don't
never,
think so, no.
I've never done. Well, I think I've never done cocaine, but basing it off what I've seen in movies and documentaries, yes, I absolutely think it makes you wildly paranoid.
I think that's more marijuana.
I don't think it's.
That's what
makes
I've
you
always
paranoid
heard.
at
I've
all.
always heard marijuana.
Well, I'm going with cocaine and marijuana then.
Cocaine, you just get really, really talkative.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
get
all right, dude,
manic
shut up.
energy.
Yeah, you just get jacked.
I'm still sticking to my guns.
If
I'm
anything,
going to
I
say it
feel
also
more-
makes you paranoid
Anything, it makes you more confident.
and paranoid.
You guys sound like you've tried it.
I bet PCP makes you paranoid.
Yeah,
And cocaine,
back
I
in
bet
the
it
day,
does that too.
Yeah, both P's stand for paranoid.
Right.
Paranoid, cocaine, paranoid.
This gal, drunk and on cocaine. She had an attack of paranoia. She called the police. It's nighttime now, you know. She said she was driving through the mountains, and there were 8 cars behind her, and they were following her.
Oh, no.
Help me, I'm being followed, she said, not considering that that's natural.
That's how the roads work.
That's how it, if you're going this way, there's likely to be a few people behind you who are going the same. She was convinced, I'm being followed. Help, police.
I suppose you could be messed up enough that you forget that's how it works.
Lady, you're on a one-way road.
Yeah.
The lady also said she stopped at a gas station, and those 8 cars followed her into the parking lot of the gas station. Now, when the cops got to the scene, they didn't see anybody there but this lady. And they knew right away that she was either insane or drunk or drugged or all of the damn above. The lady admitted to consuming both hooch and blow prior to driving. She was arrested and booked on multiple charges. The cops put her sad ass in the back of the squad car, and off they went. And then, when they were driving on their way to jail, that's when the cars appeared again.
Oh,
No, they're back?
There they are. She said the cars are back.
well, so she proved them wrong.
Oh, God, and baby Jesus, help me. Keep doing, really honestly, folks, keep doing those hard drugs. By all accounts, it's working well for so many of you.
This would be one of the times it'd be fun to be a police officer. I would love messing with her.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a little bit of that, right?
There has to be. How can you control yourself? Like, oh my gosh, you're right. You're right. They're coming to get us.
I love it. There are so many benefits to taking hard drugs. I mean, the list is long. Take this clown right here, for example. He lives down there in that one state. You know the one. He brought drugs to the beach. And it sounds like he was already sideways on dope when he got there because he managed to lock himself in the trunk of his own damn car.
That'd be pretty embarrassing.
Here's the scenario presented in the story. I'm going to go ahead with it. It says here, what would you do if you stumbled upon a car parked at a deserted beach after sunset? All of its doors are open, except the trunk is closed and there's a knocking coming from the trunk. How do you suppose you'd deal with that? I think I would instantly make a phone call to the police.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason why I'd want to take that on myself. Let me get some professionals here to handle that. The cops got a call the other night about a suspicious Lincoln Continental parked at a beach. When they arrived, they found every door wide open except for the trunk, no one in sight. And then they heard a noise a-coming out from under the trunk. Inside the trunk was a numbskull by the name of Rob Moore, a 32-year-old already. Rob couldn't get himself out of his own trunk. He told the cops he was looking for his lost keys when he, quote, somehow managed to fall inside the trunk, which then closed, locking him inside.
I would love to see that.
This guy must have been destroyed on something.
Oh, I bet that would have been so fun to watch if you had that opportunity. Blessings.
Oh, yes, that'd be incredible to see, ringside. How does a grown person fall into their own trunk? Unless they are so wiped out on...
They had to, or he had to have been, right?
The cop got the dumb bastard out of the trunk. Of course, there's grass laying all over the car and one of those pipes to smoke the grass. So stupid ass got a citation for possessing drugs and paraphernalia. It's like Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High come to life in 2024 is what this guy reminds me of.
Wappa, what's the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? Except the night gig?
It's going to take me a while.
Yeah.
Tough to put them all in order.
Yeah, I don't really know. Or it's just been, I've done it so many times.
Yeah, there's nothing that stands out, really. I mean, everybody for drinking can go, oh, yeah, there was this one time. You got nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Is that an effect of the marijuana?
Yeah, I was going to say maybe it's because of the weed you don't remember. Yeah.
You do say you get high like 4 times a day. Maybe that kind of wipes out some previous ones.
I always just made an ass out of myself when I was high when I was a kid.
In what way?
I was that absolutely out of control, cannot stop laughing character.
Well, those are fun to be around.
I bet that's fun.
It's exhausting, I'll tell you that. It's fun for a while. And then, looking back, I could tell everyone at the party was thinking, will someone get this guy out of here?
Really?
Fun for me. Oh, God, I had the time of my effing life.
I like that. I like seeing that in people.
Well, but it was quite extreme, Josh. I was lying on my back on the kitchen floor of a high school beer party, just scream laughing. I could not stop. Everyone that approached me was the funniest thing I had ever seen in my life. So it got tired for everybody else.
Yeah, I suppose if it's extreme.
Even you and the love you have for me, you would have said, take his carcass home. And then there was some paranoia. That would whoop my ass, too. This is all high school stuff. I didn't smoke that much grass beyond high school. I grew up. Some of you have trouble maturing. I grew up. There was some bouts of paranoia. I've told you the story before about the painting on the wall. Oh, boy, I was convinced that painting was going to, what's the word they might use? Form? There's a word. Shapeshift. I was convinced that painting was going to shapeshift into a real person and kill me.
That's awesome.
And I believe it was a painting of... I'll get it. I will. It was a cheap painting hanging on a hotel wall. I'm lying in the bed, paralyzed because I'm so high. And then I began to fear the paint. Don Quixote. That was the... wasn't he a legendary Spanish conquistador?
There you
Someone
go.
get on Wikipedia. I swear to God, it was a painting of Don Quixote. And he was coming for me in Wilmer, Minnesota.
The paranoia, I've got a friend who said he tried it a couple times and hates it for that reason. He got extra paranoid.
I'm way burned out on this song and dance. Someone should just finally baton this guy and get it over with. Consider this a stupid news update because he's bothered us a few times before. The stupid-ass phantom pooper from out there in England, right? We've covered this guy, haven't we, a few times? I'm done with this guy. But the update is he's done it again. He cut a turd in someone's driveway. The cops can't catch him. I guess the latest is that now he's bringing his own toilet paper with him. The local newspapers write story after story about this guy. Cubby, you know I'm not the biggest conspiracy theorist in town, but I'm convinced at this point it shouldn't be this difficult for the police to find a guy who roams from driveway to driveway and lays coilers down. It shouldn't be that hard for the police to find him. I think this is a made-up story that the local papers in England are running with because it's just a meaningless good time story that people can kind of revolve around.
Especially because you can see, you can see his whole face. It's
Well,
not like
and he
he's covered.
continues to do this places where there's cameras, and he's got to know they're there.
So I think this is a gimmick. I think this is whatever local newspaper in England keeps writing about this guy, I think it's all made up. Someone should have been able to beat this guy to death with a baseball bat at this point. But it hasn't happened, so I'm saying it's phony.
I'm jealous of his ability to poop so often. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I bet you are.
It's very regular.
I bet you are.
Oh, there's a camera going right here.
All right. Just going to squat here. Brought my toilet paper.
So, yeah, sorry I blew up, but, I've just had enough. That's all I can give you on the subject. The rest of you are free to elaborate, of course.
Oh, no, I'd like them to solve this thing. Love to get into the psyche of a guy that just runs around town pooping.
Right. I would like to be a fly on the wall in the police and, question this guy.
The fly's not going to be on the wall, Dana.
No, it's going to be on the turf.
It's got more important places to be if this guy's around. You want to get into the psyche.
Yeah, I'd love to know. Because there was the woman that was doing that. She was a jogger, and you kind of, she's in a situation where she'd churn things up like when you walk your dog, and then she would go.
Yeah.
And this guy's just dressed as a normal dude walking around town, and he brings his own toilet paper, so he's obviously aware it's going to happen.
We were talking about an attack of paranoia I had in high school when I smoked too much marijuana. Refreshments and narcotics Sheezes has texted in. Now, I don't think Stewie from Family Guy was high, but it is a comparable story. Refreshments and narcotics Sheezes says she likes that episode of the Family Guy where Stewie was terrified of Queen's News of the World album cover. That also, I love that episode, but it's more because that's one of my favorite records of all time. Queen News of the World is perfect from start to finish, if you don't know, 1977. And the cover of that record, also what bonded me to that episode from Family Guy, is I got that album when I was 7 years old. And it did everything to me that it did to Stewie. I was terrified of that album cover, but I loved it so much. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The giant robot that reaches through the top of the stadium and kills everybody, and it's carrying the dead bodies of Queen in its giant robot hand. Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. Every song on that record. I'd like to give all of you as a project for the weekend. Listen to News of the World from start to finish. You can skip the first 2 tracks because it's We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions, and you've heard that 7,000 times. Listen to the whole record and you'll go, dude, that's one of the greatest bands that has ever lived. Especially the closing track, a song called It's Late. One of the most overlooked rock and roll songs ever. It's Late. All right, we're back in the state of Colorado to wrap things up here now then. Here's one way to burn your hometown to the ground. It says here, new information shows that a wildfire in Colorado was accidentally started by a man who was trying to cremate his own dog. Oh. We've been talking about a lot of dog death the last couple of days. Pet death. We had Dr. Andrea Johnston in here from German Animal Hospital yesterday, and then the day before that it was roadkill day. We've been talking a lot about house pet death. Forgive us. You know, when you find something that works, you go with it.
Well, the first question she asked yesterday was she checked in on my dog's nuts, so there was kind of some fun, too. Not just death stuff, but also, well, I guess the death of testicles.
There was some testicular humor. So a 63-year-old fella called Brent Garber, he's accused of starting what they call here the Bucktail Fire, the notorious Bucktail Fire. If you live in Colorado, you're probably familiar with it. That fire cut loose August 1st. It became one of the largest fires in Colorado this year. Multiple acres of private property and at least one building were damaged during this fire. It was a keeper. And now this Garber guy has to go ahead and appear in court now and tell his stupid story. Investigators traced the ignition of the fire to what they call here a dugout. Now, I don't know if they mean literally a baseball dugout. This guy was hanging out at a local ball field, or if that's some term. I'll just go with it. Investigators traced the ignition of the fire to a dugout where Garber had tried to hold a funeral for his dog, a dog called Rocket.
It's a good name.
There was also a rock placed near the dugout entrance that says October 2017 to July 2024. Rocket, rest in peace, buddy. Dude made a little tombstone for his dog. Allegations are that this Garber character put his dog in a pit with wood and lit the wood on fire. He then threw some kind of spray can on the fire, which exploded the dog and caught a tree on fire. What a gong show. What is this guy, 4 years old or something? A police officer spotted Garber riding his ATV in the area after the fire started. Yeah, he was getting the hell out of there. He saw what he had done. And a few days before the fire, small town, I would imagine, because this Garber guy had a conversation with one of the local cops, and he told the cop, yeah, I'm going to bury my dog on my own private property, just in casual conversation. So they kind of knew who they were looking for. Well, he said bury. He changed his mind, obviously, and went with burn my dog. How strange.
Fat Moose Jesus brings up a good point. You know you're effed when they name the fire that you started.
Yes.
It's not just the fire. They've given it a name. It's so significant.
What kind of wacky, morbid... You know, I don't know. I'm not just going to bury my dog. I'm going to set the sumbitch on fire. I mean, what was he planning on doing? Standing there and watching the hair burn off the dog, the skin, you know, the insides? Is that what he was planning on doing? That's really creepy to me. He's charged with 3 felonies. Oh, God, all kinds of things. Arson.
I would never consider that. If I was going to bury a dog, or I would bury the dog. I would never even think of cremating.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the guy must be some kind of... Rest in peace there, Rocket. Sounds like you checked out at the right time there, pal. Your owner might have been cracking up.
Wapple, did you, when you guys buried your dog, did you consider that, or was it just burying the whole time?
Nope, it was always burying. Because
why would you consider burning your dog?
Yeah.
That's insane.
And like where we buried the dog, that's where our cats were buried, our family cats.
Dead or alive when they went in there?
Oh!
Oh, no, that's terrible.
Thanks for asking.
Speaking of burying, what movie? The number is 651-989-9393. Then we got to take a break, but I'm going to give you a movie quote, and then you tell me what. When I tell you guys to bury a body in the marsh, I mean you bury it in the marsh. 651-989-9393. Not where a guy goes every Thursday to get an effing BJ. You guys know?
I think I do. Is it the same one with the smoking bit?
Oh, yes, it is. All right, fine. Go ahead.
The Departed.
The Departed. I'm going to go have a smoke. What do you smoke? You don't smoke. What are you, one of those health nuts? Why don't you go after yourself?
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Jeffers 1 sack bunt this year, and it's popped up and caught. Throw back to second. Double play. Come on, guys. Cannot happen.
Yeah, Dick Bramer Jr. there was not pleased with that attempt at a... the Twins are done. And what an ugly ending. Mm-hmm. It was an ugly ending. Oh, God. Jeffers popping up that friggin' bunt. Oh, my God. That was so bad. I mean, Corey Provis, nobody blames you for what you said, dude. Come on, guys. He said it 3 or 4 times. You can't have that happen. That's Little League stuff. I like Ryan Jeffers. I feel bad for the guy. He had a horrible ending to the season at the plate. He was so frustrated, so I feel for the guy. He was just helpless at the plate over the last. But so many of the boys on that roster for the last month and a half have just been. It's just been a terrible struggle. And now they're, 3 games out, 4 games out with 3 to play, whatever. It's almost impossible. They'd have to sweep the series coming up against Baltimore and Detroit and Kansas City, and everyone else in the American and National League has to lose all of their games, and half the rosters have to die in a plane crash. It's just, it's friggin' over, and it just ended so terribly. I mean, when Brooks Lee hit that double in the 8th, 9th, whatever it was, to tie the game, man, that was a great moment. Everybody was pumped. It was nice to see one moment of happiness in what has been a month and a half of just real misery. But they lose the game to Florida. And she's all over. Oh, right here's a text from column jockey Messiah who says, what a frustrating year for the hometown 9. Twins bats have been as silent as Josh during a sexual liaison.
No noise whatsoever.
Coming up in a half hour, Andrew DePaula from the Minnesota Vikings will join us. He's the long snapper on that ball club. They got that game coming up this weekend. We'll talk all about Purple Pick'em. We'll get a listener on air to make some score predictions. And another round of Who Dis. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will try to figure out who the big shot is that we have on the telephone line. But don't go anywheres, because Cubby's News is coming up right proper.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930. Now ran by his granddaughter, Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
Are you looking to improve your work-life balance with excellent benefits like 401k match and even tuition reimbursement? Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
Former Navy SEAL Mike Ridlin keeps it real on the Mic Drop podcast. Navy SEAL Mark Green.
What do you think the most critical leadership quality is for a SEAL officer?
Consistency. Even if you're having a bad day, the guys have to know what they're going to expect from you. Once the people that you lead stop coming to you with their problems, then you failed as a leader. Till the last day, the guys were coming to me with their problems, which I thought was a victory.
Mic Drop. Raw, unfiltered, intellectually sound. Wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Like many of the other folks around here, it's not the first time that we've gone through it, but we're trying to get better as it happens and prepare as much as possible before what could be quite a bit of water coming through here.
This area has not had a major hurricane hit in quite some time.
Hey, Franklin County, this is your Sheriff, A.J. Tony Smith, and this is definitely the calm before the storm. Just want to continue to encourage people to please evacuate. This is a Category 4 hurricane, which is catastrophic.
Florida's Taylor County Sheriff issued a grim warning for residents who've chosen to ignore evacuation orders and wait out Hurricane Helene at home. Mark yourself with information so officials can identify your bodies later.
As the full force of Helene lands on shore, local officials with a final warning.
If you're just bound and determined to stay and not get out of harm's way, go ahead and take a black magic marker, write your name, your social security number, everything on the armor. We can identify you.
Oof. Like other spots in Florida, mandatory evacuations were ordered for Taylor County, but the sheriff estimated as many as half his population was choosing to stay put. Hurricane Helene made landfall in northwestern Florida as a Category 4 storm, as forecasters warned the enormous system could create a nightmare storm surge and bring dangerous winds and rain across much of the southeastern U.S.
A hurricane so severe the National Weather Service calls the storm surge potentially unsurvivable.
Sadly, there have been at least 3 storm-related deaths reported so far.
Yeah, there's always a few hard-ons that want to stick around, isn't there, Josh?
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you take that black magic marker, do you write a fake, filthy name on your T-shirt? So when they find you, they say, Jack Mehoff? You got to be kidding me.
I probably would draw a wiener on there.
Okay.
I think you'd have to.
I was watching some videos of this.
His name is Mike what? Mike what? Someone else read this. It's Mike what? Yes, sorry, Ashley.
I was watching some videos of this, and there was some people that were, like, in the water, like, swimming around, and there was alligators in the water, just, like, in the middle of the street. I thought, heck no. What are you doing?
I do like when people pass around the meme of that long-haired guy without a shirt holding the American flag in high winds.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why, but after all these years, I still love that. Mm-hmm. A 20-year-old man threw an explosive into a California courthouse just before his arraignment on a gun charge, injuring 5 and causing that area to shut down.
His arraignment for that case was scheduled for this morning in Department 9 at the court compound behind us.
The blast happened about 8:45 a.m. Wednesday when the suspect tossed a bag which exploded when it reached the screening station. He'd been busted last July for illegal gun possession and was due in court that day. Authorities believe the attack was related to his earlier gun arrest, not terrorism or political violence.
The detectives learned that McGuire's motivation appeared to have stemmed from a recent arrest by the sheriff's office for firearms violations. In that case, deputies discovered and seized a loaded and concealed revolver that was in McGuire's pants pocket.
In Wednesday's incident, the suspect, wearing body armor under his jacket, ran off, but was caught trying to get into his car nearby.
He was detained outside the courthouse as he tried to enter his red car that was parked in the southeast parking lot. He was alone when he was apprehended and was wearing body armor underneath his jacket.
Officials are looking into whether he's linked to recent arson cases reported in the area.
He sounds like a real cute character.
Yeah, there's so many. Probably, you could just not show up to court. You don't need to blow up the court to get out of it. A 36-year-old woman from Isanti is suspected of driving drunk after crashing into a Blaine restaurant's patio Tuesday night, just weeks after a deadly patio crash in St. Louis Park. The Minnesota State Patrol said it happened about 6:30 p.m. at Clive's Roadhouse off of Highway 65 near the National Sports Center. The woman drove off the road, went into a ditch, rolled, and then landed in the restaurant's patio area.
Oh.
2 other people were in her car, and both survived with minor injuries. The State Patrol is still investigating. It was 26 days ago when a 56-year-old man crashed drunk in a Park Tavern's patio in St. Louis Park. Sadly, 2 people were killed, several others hurt in that crash. According to the criminal complaint, the 56-year-old's blood alcohol level was over 4 times the legal limit when he slammed into that patio. Stripping naked, crawling into a heavily wooded area, and masturbating near a children's playground is no way to go through life, Mr. Police Sergeant.
Oh, no.
What happened?
A 51-year-old British police officer admitted taking pictures of himself performing the sex act. He took pictures of himself when he's crawling into a wooded area.
Well, you wouldn't want a souvenir from that?
No, I was curious. Is that common? Do people, I mean, unless
I
you're
don't think so.
Somebody requested, video or a picture of that.
I always want proof when I masturbate.
You do? Just for yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one back then.
Yep.
It pops up on your memories.
Yeah, he timestamps it so he always remembers.
He admitted to masturbating in public and later conceded his actions technically amounted to misconduct, but he thought it would be okay because he was hiding in a densely wooded area. However, his bosses didn't see it that way, and they dismissed any suggestion it was a private act, saying they considered it very differently due to the risk he could have been seen by children playing at the park who could have easily entered the same area and seen the officer naked, as they say in the UK, having a wank. The incident came to light earlier this year after the photos the officer had taken of himself were discovered.
Yeah, everybody's different, right, Josh? I mean,
owned himself.
You know that, one of my closest childhood buddies, after a while, after we got a little older, that's all he wanted to do was go into the woods and masturbate. We couldn't talk him into anything else. Hey, you want to go to the ball game? You want to go out for a couple of drinks? No. We'll go in the woods and masturbate, and if someone sees me, it's a bonus.
Yeah, a good lesson here is that he's never getting out of jail.
No, he's not.
His facility, he'll be there.
It became his favorite thing in the world to do.
Unfortunately, they're masturbating inappropriately here at home, too. Taking out your penis while offering kids a Cheeto at a local park is no way to go about life, Mr. Gymnastics coach. A 26-year-old Isani man who worked at a Ham Lake gymnastics studio was arrested last week after reportedly exposing himself in front of children. According to the charging documents, the incident happened at 4:47 p.m. last Friday at a park in Blaine. Police met with a woman and her 12-year-old son who told officers he'd been sitting at a picnic table with his brothers when an adult male approached. The man sat with the kids and began talking to them before exposing himself from a leg hole of his shorts. Then he grabbed a Cheeto and asked the kids if they wanted to, quote, feed the animal.
Oh.
The children said no. After continuing to talk to the children, the man invited them to attend his class at a local gymnastics studio, if they got permission from their parents. He then walked away toward that studio. Officers went there and met with the man, who police said matched the child's description as an older, heavy-set, short man wearing a T-shirt and shorts. The documents state he admitted being at the park and talking to children, but he denied exposing himself. If found guilty, the man faces up to a year in prison and a $3,000 fine. His court date is scheduled for November 6th.
This guy's different.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gross detail. But the kids mentioned he did something with that Cheeto, and they found Cheeto dust in the area where they suggested that Cheeto went.
Oh.
By they, I mean police.
Oh, dude.
Did he put a Cheeto up his butt?
No. The other side.
He Cheetoed his own penis?
He did.
Chester wouldn't like that.
Well, you don't know Chester.
Yeah, he's
don't speak for Chester.
Yeah, he's freak.
3 men were grilled by authorities Tuesday after being caught stealing thousands of dollars worth of beef. 38-year-old Douglas Mathis, 32-year-old Jameer Scott, and 30-year-old Tariq Duncan were caught swiping 1,600 pounds of beef from a locked trailer in Philadelphia after the meat thieves butchered their getaway.
During the interaction with the suspects, there was an individual that fled on foot. He was apprehended a short time later, and then there was also one of the vehicles fled as well. He was safely apprehended.
Investigators,
what are they trying to put together, the world's biggest meatball or something?
No, they're trying to sell it. Investigators say the men broke the truck's lock and tried to walk away with the steak worth $7,000.
I'm not surprised. I guess there's a market for it, but I mean, drivers just have to be really careful. If you see somebody walking around, any type of suspicion whatsoever, you look out for the other drivers.
Were they bringing goulash to a potluck?
That'd be a big potluck. The beefy bust is linked to earlier arrests in New Jersey's Operation Beef Bandit, targeting an organized cargo theft ring. Meanwhile, in a state known for its beef, it's actually bologna making news in Texas. A 43-year-old woman was caught smuggling a large amount of bologna and prescription drugs into the Lone Star State. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol busted her Monday after an inspection revealed her suitcases were suspiciously heavy. They found 40 rolls of Mexican bologna weighing 748 pounds, along with 280 boxes of undeclared prescription drugs hidden in her SUV. She was fined $1,000, and that bologna was destroyed.
I'm a fan.
I love bologna.
Oh, I hate bologna.
I love it.
I ate
Really?
too much of it as a child, yeah.
Oh, we ate a ton of it. I could still go through some.
Never enough. Never enough.
Drivers might love hopping into the express lane to zip past traffic, but watch out for a new scam involving fake toll payment notices. MnDOT's warning about email scams and texts that look like they're from EasyPass. The messages often show a photo with the EasyPass logo, claiming you owe money for a recent journey and need to pay up quickly to avoid late fees, complete with a sketchy link. Even if you're not an EasyPass customer, you might still get these messages, since scammers are picking numbers and emails at random. These scams popping up in other states as well, like Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and New York. Minnesota switched to EasyPass in 2021. It's got a few people already, so
there's this scam,
check.
Josh, and that scam. They're going to get me eventually.
Yeah, there's always
Definitely.
Amazon Prime Video's developing a RoboCop series. The series aims to stay true to the 1987 film depicting a dystopian future influenced by corporate infiltration of law enforcement. It follows a tech conglomerate working with police to introduce a technologically advanced cyborg cop ready to serve the public trust and protect the innocent.
Oh!
The adaptation is one of many titles Amazon inherited from its acquisition of MGM, including Silence of the Lambs, James Bond, The Handmaid's Tale, and Legally Blonde, which is also getting a prequel series.
I'll tell you what, when I don't have anything going on a Friday or Saturday night, still, it's RoboCop or it's Legally Blonde.
That's quite the...
That's what I go with. One of the
range.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. It's tough to choose sometimes.
Surprised you don't throw Bring It On.
I love Bring It On.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't watch that once in a while.
I'm surprised you don't shut up.
Oh, whoops.
Gosh.
I never will. I'm going to just keep talking.
That got mean.
I don't know. It's Friday. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
In theaters this week, Francis Ford Coppola's Megapolis. The city of New Rome is the main conflict between a brilliant artist in favor of a utopian, idealistic future and his opposition, a mayor committed to a regressive status quo, perpetuating greed, special interests, and partisan warfare. Written and directed by Francis Ford Coppola, Megapolis has an all-star cast, which includes Adam Driver, Aubrey Plaza, who says she doesn't wear underwear, Jon Voight, Shia LaBeouf, Lawrence Fishburne, Jason Schwartzman, and Dustin Hoffman. Also in theaters today, Pedro Pascal, Mark Hamill, and Ving Rhames lend their voices to the animated family adventure, The Wild Robot. Shipwrecked on a deserted island, a robot named Roz must learn to adapt to its new surroundings. Now streaming on Apple TV Plus, Wolves, an action comedy starring George Clooney and Brad Pitt. Clooney's a fixer hired to cover up a high-profile crime. But a second fixer, played by Pitt, shows up and they're forced to work together to minimize the damage as things spiral out of control. Sunday on AMC, the second season premiere of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. And on Fox, 3 of their most popular animated comedies return for new seasons, including The Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, and Crapopolis.
Heck yeah.
Mystic Lake Casino selected the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund for the Mystic Lake Change for the Better. Starting next Tuesday through October 15th, guests can donate their change to the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund when they redeem their ticket. Also in October, there's a new burger special benefiting Shaver's Fund. You can find the Shaver Special at 3 locations, Burger Moe's in St. Paul, Moe's Char House in Chanhassen, and Moe's American Grill in Mound View. The Shaver Special begins next Tuesday, and that one will run through October the 20th.
Talk to me, Cubby.
Get well to Bumpy, Grumpy Plumber Jesus, who thought maybe he was having the big one this morning. Lucky he's okay.
Was it just gas?
They didn't say exactly what happened, so hopefully you're feeling better soon. Dresses like a cowboy, but not a cowboy Jesus. Text in a shout-out to 2 of his great friends, Megan and AJ, on their wedding. I hope I pronounced it Megan correctly.
Megan?
Well, it's either that or Megan. It's spelled M-E-A-G-A-N. I know a Megan spelled that way, so I'm hoping that's correct. Happy birthday to Hank, finally turning 21 in dog years tomorrow, from his, quote, parents, freaking the spreadsheets Jesus and K-Walla Jesus, and that's 93X News.
The Minnesota Vikings interview.
Don't worry about the horse being blind, just load the wagon.
Touchdown! Vikings win it! On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
What's your favorite reality TV show?
Actually, we watched one not too long ago. Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. Did you watch the
Season 6?
UK version or the American version?
No, the American one.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, it's a good season. You should go back and watch Cam and Lauren from season 1. That changed your life.
He likes to do that stuff to get inside someone's head. I'm not really tripping on that. I'm going to just get my gritty in his end zone. I'm excited for the matchup.
Welcome to the show, Randy Shaver.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Brad Ryder.
Good morning.
And welcome to the show, Andrew DePaula. One of you will be paid a lot of money to compete in Sunday's professional football game against the Green Bay Packers.
It won't be me.
You don't think it'll... Hi, Andrew.
I don't think it'll be me either.
A lot is a relative term, guys.
Well, compared to us, you're doing pretty good.
A lot more than the other two.
What's going on, Andrew?
Good morning. Good morning, Friday crew. How we doing?
Oh, we're doing all right. We are. We're looking forward to that ball game. We always love having you on the telephone with us. We heard some audio there. You once again appeared on the show Between Two Ferns.
No.
And you were... tell us about this reality show, Love is Blind. It sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, it's a reality show where they get like, I don't know how many girls and how many guys, but essentially you date, but you can't see the other person. Like you go into a room and you talk and you ask questions and you try to get a feel for who they are as a person, and then like, you know, you pick a person based off of what y'all talked about in these like rooms.
Okay.
And then, you know, there's this big reveal about what the other person looks like and whatnot, and then they follow them around, like they go back to wherever they're from and they move in together, and it's like, it's great. It's just great TV.
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
These reality shows, I mean, especially the dating ones, they got every friggin' angle covered. I think I caught the friggin' wife watching that one night. What was the naked one where they just show genitalia? Which one was that? Remember that one?
Yeah, they started the feet and they'd raise it up like, you know, a little bit so you get to see like their calves and their feet and then a little bit more.
Yeah, go a little higher.
Yeah, and then it just kept going and then they decided they liked the person.
The first thing,
Naked Attraction?
That sounds right. Have you heard of that one, Andrew?
No, actually I haven't. I'm curious, what time were you guys watching the show? Sounds like a 2 a.m. show.
It was on PBS. It comes on right after Sesame Street.
I think it's streaming on Max. Somebody had said before, last time we talked about it, it started overseas somewhere in the UK, and then they picked up an American version, and it's streaming on Max.
Everybody was talking about this, I don't know, a year ago, where, this wasn't going to be the type of program you see on your local channels. This was something on Netflix or something. And, I mean, from what I understand, most people were so grossed out that they quickly quit watching this program. That's the word that I got, that many people were interested. But when the first thing that's shown from a contestant on this program is their hairy private parts, people just said, I can't do this. Did anyone hear the same type of thing?
Yeah, I had assumed they'd reveal that towards the end, but everyone said, no, they lead with that.
Yeah.
They lead with the twig and berries.
Yeah. So I heard, you know, even though it's...
if it were me, it's all uphill from there, to be honest with you. But for others, that might not be the case.
When we first heard about it, it sounded almost like a natural next stepping stone. So many of these shows are so sexually charged. So when we heard, well, there's going to be a show where you just expose your privates and you go on a date via that, I thought, this is going to be huge. No, apparently it fizzled out so fast because people were vomiting.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody say it's good.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, here's the deal, Andrew DePaula. You got that game on Sunday. If you want to see some inspiring video, because you hate the Green Bay Packers, right? You hate their guts.
Don't we all?
Yeah. You look forward to this game. You want to beat them, and then you want to go up into the stands and start slapping some of their fans around.
Your words, not mine.
Right. If you need any extra motivation, is that video up on our website we were talking about earlier, Ashley?
Yes.
Okay, we were talking the Packer-Viking rivalry earlier on the program. We were talking about some games, memorable games from years gone by. And I mentioned this, and then Dana was able to find this video on YouTube. Maybe Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver remember this. There was a Viking-Packer game at Lambeau Field, I'm going to say 98, 99 maybe, where Packer wide receiver Antonio Freeman catches a pass from Brent Favre, and he made a massive mistake right away. He caught the football. He's running, of course, upfield, but he's only looking behind him as to who is chasing him. He never sees Viking cornerback Corey Fuller coming.
Yeah, I do remember this.
And Fuller hit him so hard. When I watched it live, I thought Antonio Freeman was deceased.
Yes.
So we're talking about these old games, and that one is memorable to me, even though I'm sure the Packers won by 30 in that ball game. Corey Fuller almost murdered Antonio Freeman on the field. If you need any extra motivation, Andrew DePaula, you can see that video on our website.
The way the ball comes out, at first I thought it was his head. If you watch that video, it's perfect. It looks like his head came right off.
It's a hit that would not be legal in today's game.
And I'm watching it right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that hit might be legal. He led with the shoulder. He didn't hit him in the head or neck area. He hit him in the chest.
Wouldn't they give him the defenseless player routine?
Targeting or something?
No, he's a player running with the ball. There's no defenseless anything.
Okay. So you say it might
agree with you. I agree with you, but I think there might be some overzealous back judge that might throw the flag just because in today's day.
And you're right. You're absolutely right on that.
Andrew DePaula, that is an impressive hit, is it not?
Oh, that's a very impressive hit. That is textbook. You show that on the teach tape right there.
The teach tape, he calls it. That's inside industry stuff right there.
I like
And
that.
actually, that was the way Corey Fuller played the game.
He was a hard-hitting kid.
Corey was a very hard-hitting cornerback in a defensive back group that included Robert Griffith. That was also a very hard-hitting safety. So, not surprising.
Andrew, can you give us a couple of stories of when you were on the giving and receiving end of a hit like that during your career? Could be college, could be pro. Where how about first we lead off with where you laid a guy out so bad? You know what I'm talking about? Didn't have to be a cheap shot. You just got a guy so good it was just what you've been waiting for.
Yeah. I mean, so many.
The list is long.
I've never hit anyone like that. I've never delivered a blow like that.
Okay.
Ever.
How about
my career?
Did someone ever barrel ass you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? Yes. Yep. Yep.
Where?
College 2007. We're playing number 2 South Florida. They block a field goal. I'm the holder. Go figure. I'm the holder for field goals, and they block a field goal, and their scoop corner scoops it, and he's running down the sideline. So I just take off. I'm like, man, I got to save this touchdown. It's going to be great. Same thing. I'm looking one way, and somehow some guy circled around and just got a full head of steam and just destroyed me. I remember running, and then I remember looking at him like, man, my feet are up above my head. They shouldn't be there. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then I hit the ground, and then I just popped up, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to walk off from the sideline like this didn't really hurt, but I was hurting. I wanted to cry.
Isn't that something? By the way, door-swinging truck driver Jesus texted into the program, going back to that Corey Fuller hit on Antonio Freeman from the late 90s. Door-swinging truck driver Jesus agrees with you, Andrew. He thinks that would be a legal play in today's game, of course, unless you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Another good point. Another good point.
Listen, Andrew, we're very excited with the next direction that we're going here on the program. We'd like to get involved in another edition of a mysterious new gimmick we have around here called Who Dis?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Wait, hang on. I'm gonna call. Who this?
Who Dis? And obviously, Andrew, being our special guest this morning, you are free to contribute in any way, shape, or form. Here's how Who Dis plays itself out. We have a mysterious big shot on the telephone right now, other than yourself. And Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder threw a series of... did I miss a joke? What happened?
He said, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Through a series of yes or no questions, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will try to figure out who this is. Only yes or no questions. Our individual on the line, our big shot, should only answer with yes or no. Say hello, special guest for Who Dis.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay, we're doing well. I recommended you say hello. He took it a lot further than I wanted him to, but hopefully that doesn't throw a monkey wrench into our operation. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder. We can start with Randy.
Okay.
And Andrew, if you think that, because Andrew knows, he does.
He's aware who this is.
Andrew's aware. We had to let him in on it. So if you want to add your assistance, Andrew, you're welcome to do that. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Randy Shaver, your first question, yes or no question for Who Dis.
Are you a current or former Viking?
Yes.
Okay, Randy Shaver. You gave him two choices there. You could have limited it to one or the other.
So we're back at square one.
So
we know Brad's next question.
Randy
he went
Shaver.
hard. He went hard on the intro, and now he's giving you nothing.
Randy Shaver, you could have limited it to like 48 guys. Instead, you opened it up to like 700,000 guys. Okay. Yes, or the question was current or former Viking. The answer was yes. Brad Ryder?
Did you play for both the Vikings and the Packers?
No.
Okay.
No. All right, so not a former Packer. Randy?
Are you the current Viking kicker?
You
What?
did.
How does that even happen?
And I am the champion once again.
Oh, what? Stop.
How did you get that so quick?
Well, why else would Andrew know, and why would we have him? Who else of the team would be on at 7:45 on a Friday morning?
Welcome to the program, Vikings kicker Will Reichard.
Yes.
Well, that was a lot of fun.
Well, Andrew told us a great story about you. Well, hopefully you can see the humor in it, that you have a lot of trouble getting in your own facility and facilities across the league because of how youthful you look.
Yeah, there's been a struggle with trying to get out to the field as well as in training camp, trying to get to my room. It's even in our own building, trying to walk down the hallway. Yeah, there's been, I'd say, probably 7 or 8 instances in the last 4 weeks or so where people have tried to or didn't know I was on the team.
Do you find the humor in it, or is it starting to get old?
I thought it was funny at first, but now it makes me mad.
You just want to do your job.
Can you grow facial hair? Maybe that would help.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess I understand it, but at the end of the day, I mean, there was even times where there was like other guys that maybe not necessarily looked like a football player too walking beside me. And they didn't necessarily get checked, but I did, so I don't know.
It's profiling. It's what it is.
I mean, that's got to be frustrating. You know, everywhere you go, here you are, you're in the National Football League, and wherever you go, people are saying, "Hey, kid, step over here and show us some ID." I mean, when you look in the mirror, do you see what they see, or do you think, well, hell, I'm not that young looking?
No, I definitely see what they see for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're 23. You're not terribly old. So, I mean, if you're youthful, I thought when you answered the first question before we guessed who you were, you sounded like my son, and he's 21. I was going to guess that they got my son on the line or something.
I don't know. I mean, I really thought this one would play itself out for a while. Maybe we shouldn't have, maybe we should have said Andrew DePaula has no idea who is on the phone. That probably would have made it more.
I didn't consider that.
I didn't consider. We wanted to keep Andrew involved. We didn't want to disclude you, Andrew.
Randy's a critical thinker. That's what it is. He takes all the clues around him.
Don't give him any more credit.
His ego's big enough as it is, Andrew.
Yeah.
We appreciate what you were trying to do there, DePaula, but don't add fuel to what is already an out-of-control friggin' fire. Hey, Will, how's life other than, getting carded everywhere you go? I mean, how's life in the NFL here for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. I think still trying to adjust to being 16 hours from where I've lived my whole life, being away from friends and family, which is a little rough, but had an opportunity to make a lot of new friends. And, you know, me and Andrew are going to a Twins game tonight, as well as our punter Ryan.
Save it, Randy.
You'll be the only ones there.
Yeah. You have a section to yourself.
Yes.
They're just trying to bond, Randy. They don't want to hear your problems. Going out to a ball game tonight. Sorry that our friend had to interrupt you, Will.
Yeah, no, but it's been great. I think just still trying to get used to the area and everything. I think not wanting to look forward to the cold weather coming up here soon, but I guess we'll deal with it when it gets here.
Where is this hometown of yours that's 16 hours away?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh.
Yeah, you played at the University of Alabama, correct?
Well, cripes.
Yeah.
See, Willie Miles is from Mobile. Maybe that wouldn't matter. Maybe that's like a Minnesotan saying, oh, you're from Minneapolis and I'm from Duluth. I don't know, but see, Willie Miles is an Alabama guy. And tell us about your hairdo now. The no haircutting gimmick. We read about it, but we'd like to hear it from you.
Yeah, so it kind of started my second year in college. I think I was like 4 or 5 games in, and one of our strength coaches came up to me and told me that I needed to get a haircut. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, yeah, you're probably right. But I hadn't missed a field goal yet that season. And so I just kind of looked at him jokingly and was like, I'll just cut it whenever I miss a field goal. And he was like, all right, that sounds good. So we finished out the rest of the season, and I ended up not missing a field goal the whole year. And so I had like this really long mullet in the back. And it just kind of became like a funny joke around, all the coaches and players there. And everyone told me that they wanted me to do it every single year. So it's kind of been something funny that I do every single year ever since then.
And it just ends up looking gorgeous, I bet.
Yeah, I have a lot of funny pictures and videos on my phone of it. Just, it's so long. I look back at them and I'm like, I don't even know how I walked around like this. But
how'd you get a helmet on?
Well, there's
literally it got tougher to put it on for sure.
Does that piss you off a little bit, Andrew DePaula, a guy telling because it aggravates me a little bit, a guy telling stories about just freely growing his hair out and things like that?
I was hoping to avoid this one here, but yep, it does. It does.
Oh, and you're a Walmart model.
Yeah. That's been going on for, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 years. It's not even, I guess, really directly through Walmart. They kind of outsource some of their advertisements to this company that I signed with in college, kind of like a NIL company. And so they kind of have a partnership, and so I get to do a lot of stuff for them.
I'll tell you what. Life is hard, isn't it, Will?
Yeah.
I'm a 23-year-old model who plays in the NFL. Life is hard sometimes. Have the girls come running for you since you came to town, Will? Are they hitting you up on, what do they call it, Bender? What's that thing called again?
Tinder.
I'm actually married, so...
You're what?
Thankfully, yeah, I got married a year and a half ago.
What the hell? What's wrong with you?
Nick, do you have to run down all the things he is? To remind him, you don't want to get married at your age.
NFL model and you got married?
He married a good one now. She's a sweetheart.
I'm sure she is. I just, I know I would do it a little differently. Well, damn, Will and Andrew. I know you guys, you don't got all day to spend on the telephone with us, but we really appreciate you spending some time with us, Will. And your first,
thanks for having me on.
First game at Lambeau Field, does that do anything for you?
That'll be fun.
Looking forward to it. I've heard it's really historic, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. But yeah, looking forward to it for sure. Historic venue.
And you mentioned that you're far from home. You're from Alabama, and you're. I don't remember now how you put it, but you're maybe slightly concerned about the way the weather gets around here come December and January. Well, last winter was a cakewalk, but Andrew DePaula, have you told them some stories of what he's up against this winter?
Not yet. I'm trying to keep him in a good mood.
Maybe when you guys are at the game during the 7th inning stretch or something, you can give him a couple of tales, give him some advice.
Living in Egan's a lot like living in Alabama.
Thank you to both Andrew DePaula and Will Reichard for joining us this morning. You guys go out and have a great game on Sunday, okay?
Good luck on Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You bet.
How funny would it be if we see a picture of those two guys and Will ordered like cotton candy or a helmet sundae?
All right. We got to I don't know what we got to do next time we play Who Dis because Shaver's gotten it done in 10 seconds. Typical
I'm
Shaver.
Sorry, I'm good at it.
Well, we were scared this might go on too long, and obviously that was nothing.
No, I think I would have guessed him the next guest too.
We should have told DePaula, look, you're going to have to sit this out, or act like you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
That was the dead giveaway. We're too nice a group of people. That's what it is.
He had too youthful of a voice when you introduced him too. He couldn't. I mean, he wouldn't have been a lineman or a linebacker or.
Hey, how's it going?
That was pretty funny when his voice cracked.
Yeah, exactly. You just sound like my 21-year-old son.
A lot of people were texting in saying they were surprised he was married. They heard he was dating actress Sydney Sweeney. I hadn't heard that rumor before.
Oh, really? Are you for serious?
So I Googled it, and there are some like Twitter accounts that were.
She's really famous.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Sydney Sweeney.
You have. We've
She's
talked.
next level. I've sent you pictures.
Yeah,
of her.
she is next level.
Oh, the one with the pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember her.
The hot blonde.
Music has been taken out of this portion of the Half-Ass Morning Show podcast for licensing reasons.
Oh, someone get Jeff on the telephone, for it's time for Purple Pickin'. Is Jeff on the telephone?
Yes, right here.
Hey.
What up, Jeff? Thanks for being all spirited, Jeff. How you doing?
Doing great.
Well, good. Because sometimes we say, hey, Donnie, welcome to the show. And they go, yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
Hi. Thanks for being awake for us, Jeff. Are you in St. Paul?
Yes.
Nice spot over there. Hope you found a nice spot over there in St. Paul. Jeff already won a $25 gift card to Dickie's Barbecue Pit of Egan for getting involved in Purple Pick'em. Now, I hope you appreciate that as much as I would, Jeff.
Oh yeah, I love that place.
All right. And now you're qualified to pick some scores here in our Purple Pick'em gimmick. Jeff, if you get the correct score at halftime or the final of this weekend's game, you'll get $1,000. If you get them both correct, that means $100,000 and a trip to that big fat-ass game in New Orleans. Okay, so how about the halftime score, Jeff? What's your prediction?
All right, I'm going to go Minnesota 17 and Green Bay 10.
Sure. And what about by the final horn there, Jeff?
All right, Minnesota 31 and the Cheeseheads 20.
One or the other, it means $1,000. Both of them, $100,000 and a trip to that big stinking ball game. We never asked you what you did for a living, Jeffski.
Well, between jobs at the moment, but I was a Jimmy John's delivery driver for many, many years.
Oh, the heroes. Man, love the Jimmy John's guy.
The pleasure that you've given us over the years.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service. Dana, can you give Jeff any advice on being between jobs?
Sell off some of your old video game collection if you need some beer money.
Ooh, yes.
I know it's tough to part with, but...
Jeff, you're a true pimp. Now you have to say something nice about me.
Oh, boy. Good luck.
You are a master of your craft.
Oh, my goodness. It's nice having Jeff on the telephone.
Yeah.
Good luck this weekend. We appreciate you getting yourself involved in Purple Pick'em. Wapple, you say it.
Purple Pick'em.
I love it. We'll talk to you later, Jeff.
All right, thanks so much.
There goes that sumbitch. Speaking of this weekend's game, Jordan Addison expects to play.
Yeah, how about that?
Huh? Justin Jefferson vows to dance the gritty in J.R. Alexander's end zone at Lambeau Field. I don't know what that means.
He likes to do that stuff to get inside someone's head. I'm not really tripping on that. I'm going to just get my gritty in his end zone. I'm excited for the matchup.
Okay, I know what the gritty is, but what does it mean to be Jarar Alexander? What's the significance of him?
Cornerback. They're going to be. He's going to be.
Also, that's the guy. He's going to be running routes.
Yeah.
They have a rivalry or something?
He mocked him or something.
He's been talking smack.
Talk. He's one of those guys, Randy?
Yeah, he's one of those guys, yeah.
I really don't care about the matchup, honestly. I feel like he cares more of it than I do. No knick-knack at Jair. That's every team and how they scheme up against me and, how they try to play me. So it doesn't matter if I'm going up against Jair or if I'm going up against, the worst corner in the league.
Music has been taken out of this portion of the Half-Ass Morning Show podcast for licensing reasons.
Golden Gopher football's at the Big House tomorrow morning. It just dawned on me that someone was playing Twins. What's the name of that song again?
Skull Vikings?
Oh, I thought that was the Twins song.
No. Still for the Vikings.
Definitely said go Vikings.
Skull Vikings, yeah.
In my head, I was hearing, what's the Twins song again?
Like, we're going to win.
We're going to win. Jesus, I shouldn't have dropped acid before we went on the air. The whole time that Viking song was playing, I thought someone was trying to encourage me to talk about the Twins by playing the Twins. Jesus, I'm absolutely losing my damn mind. Pure unmitigated misery is what last night was for the Twins.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, she's over for the Twins now.
Yep.
After last night's loss, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier.
Yep.
I feel bad for Ryan Jeffers. He has been so frustrated at the plate over the last couple of weeks. You saw him throwing bats in the dugout, popping up to the infield, but he hit rock bottom with that blown sack bunt where he popped it up and it turned into a double play. That was just horrible. And if you were watching the game last night and you heard Corey Provis's reaction, no one can believe. Did you guys hear? Did you watch?
I heard him, yeah.
Oh, man.
Jeffers one sack bunt this year, and it's popped up and caught. Throw back to second, double play. Come on, guys. Cannot happen.
It's just been miserable.
The effort in getting back to second base, I think, is what he was referring to a little bit by whoever that runner was on second.
It was Santana.
Yeah.
He was referring to the whole schmear.
Well, he was, but yeah.
Santana, I don't know what Santana was doing either in that situation. What the hell was he doing that far off the bag?
Well, he wasn't even that far off the bag, but he kind of jogged back in a second.
Anyway, that was terrible, and the whole final month and a half of the season has been terrible.
Yep. There's no other way to put it. It's been awful, and they're getting what they deserve right now.
Yeah.
Bronco. It's just been horrible. And then the contrast is watching the video from the Tigers' last out yesterday. Did you see that crowd? That was unbelievable. If you go, I know you're not on social, Nick, but I watched it on Twitter yesterday. The last out in that win for the Tigers yesterday was unbelievable, and how exciting it all looked at Comerica Park.
Yeah.
You know what else I missed? Yes, go ahead, Randy.
And then the Oakland A's last game was phenomenal.
I missed that as well. I haven't seen any video. I'll watch it this weekend. I didn't have time last night to catch up with.
Just fantastic stuff. They pulled out all the stops.
People crying up and down.
It was
sold out the game. It was completely sold out. Saw video after the game of some of the players going around and scooping up dirt for the fans in shovels and giving them dirt and stuff.
I mean, how about this?
That's awesome.
More than happy to meet the request. I know for some it might be just a simple scoop, but for these fans, it's the physical embodiment of generation after generation enjoying this place and what it's brought.
I'm sorry I missed all of that. I'll catch up this weekend. I know there were some special things going on.
There are two things, Nick, that I just that I circled on my phone that I wanted to keep.
Speed it up already. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
The Tigers on September 12th, their playoff chances were 7%. And, of course, they've made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that.
That's
2
nuts.
weeks ago, 7% was the chances of them making the playoffs. And the other one was this picture of Ricky Henderson on Twitter yesterday. Ricky Henderson, he was at the Oakland A's last game, right?
Yeah.
He says, "I can't be sad. I have too much money."
That's awesome.
You have got to be kidding me.
No, I can't be. This is his quote. "I can't be sad. I have too much money."
He's not even a real person. He is so hilarious, he can't even be a real person. The only thing he was missing was referring to himself in the third person. He should have said, Ricky can't be sad. Ricky has too much. I got to look all that up. I know I missed some great stuff yesterday.
Yes.
Wapple, dad fights. Go ahead.
What?
Oh, we're not doing dad fights.
I was wondering why you were in such a hurry.
That is why I was in a hurry. I forgot we're not doing dad fights. Well, really, I left all this time available because I forgot that we're not doing dad fights. I have nothing else to talk about. That's a true story. I totally forgot that we were skipping dad fights. Why don't we just do it?
Yeah, if we've got time, why not?
Well, we got time, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, the question is, do you have something ready?
Oh, yeah. We always...
We had something ready, and then before we went on the air, we thought, with DePaula and Will Reichard, maybe we'll give ourselves a break, and just kind of coast the rest of the... But really, honestly, I threw everything away. I was preparing for dad fights. I totally forgot the conversation that we had this morning. So let's just do it. You have the song anywhere?
I'm trying to load everything up. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
I have so much stuff I have to load up.
Don't worry about it.
Forget about the sound effects and stuff. By the time I get done explaining what we're doing, Wapple, you'll have things ready like sound effects and whatnot?
Like, how about our wrong answer sound?
Just about there.
All right.
It's the 170th edition of our Trivia Showdown between the smartest man to ever come out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Randy Shaver, and his arch rival and intellectual equal, Clara City, Minnesota's finest sex education professor, Brad Ryder.
Oh, my God.
Folks are falling down and touching themselves over the new Vincent Kennedy McMahon documentary on Netflix, right? Anyone gotten a piece of the Vincent Kennedy McMahon documentary?
Just about finished with it.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us all about it.
It's, you knew Vince McMahon was an awful dude, but this really, really drives it home.
That's what texters are saying.
You were telling me it was like really dark.
Yeah.
Oh.
In some places, yeah.
Just his relationships with everybody, and it's his family. It's not good.
It's sad.
It is very sad. It's tough to watch, especially because I have such fond memories of those times in the '90s watching wrestling, and this just further drives home just how toxic and awful the whole thing was.
I mean, you always had the feeling that the man was probably a bastard deep down, but this, like you said, drives it home and maybe even tells you some things that you didn't even consider.
Yep, exactly.
So after watching it, you understand why McMahon was trying to get that thing pulled?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. I'll have to get a piece of that at one point or another as well. Now, the folks at ESPN do a great job with the 30 for 30 documentaries, don't they?
Oh, they're excellent.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Even if you're not necessarily interested in the topic, they're entertaining.
It can't be all porno movies, right, Randy Shaver? You got to squeeze in a dramatic sports documentary now and again.
You talking about me?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Barely do I squeeze one in, but yes.
Today for Dad Fights Effin' 170, we're going to test you two dorks on some of the great subjects of 30 for 30 documentaries over the years. There have been some great ones. Now, please don't shout out your favorite, because you might F everything up. But there have been some great 30 for 30 documentaries over the years. I've enjoyed the hell out of them. We'll give you hints and information on some of the great stories told on an ESPN 30 for 30 documentary, and you tell us the subject of the documentary. The trick for you guys is going to be trying to be patient enough to figure out where we're going with each challenge, what answer we're looking for. I'll give you a hint. I think 7 times out of 10, we're strictly looking for the name of an athlete or athletes. For the others, it might be a team or a league or something like that. Is that, can you work with that?
Sure.
Sure, yeah.
Just listen closely. We got some great hints for you, and you'll be fine. So, Dad Fights, the way we operate, you want to be the first to shout out the correct answer. You want to beat your opponent to the punch. If you're correct, you'll hear the bell. Incorrect, I think we're going to go with the dart fart.
Hey, good morning, asswipes.
The dart fart. We learned about this yesterday, and I know some of you are saying, well, wait a minute, what about the Costco intercom? That's not going to go away completely, ever. It's too legendary. Yesterday, we had audio of a fella involved in a professional dart tournament. He threw his round of darts, and then as he was walking off the stage, he unleashed Satan's fury upon everyone in the building.
Man.
Gross.
That's a hot one.
Ugh.
That's what you'll hear. That's what you'll hear if you have an incorrect answer. You can steal a point if your opponent is incorrect. 10 challenges plus a tiebreaker if necessary. And from what I understand, we're going to hear from, God, I had it, here it is. We're going to hear from offended millennial Jesus to fire things up.
Hey, good morning, asswipes. It's offended millennial Jesus. Father of one beautiful little girl, thanks to my lovely wife and her rock star reproductive organs.
Him and her got it on.
As usual, we have the ass man, Randy Shaver, and if you ain't Dutch, you ain't much, Brad Ryder. Randy, he reminds me a lot of my mother. A great laugh, heart of a fighter, luscious hair, deep brown eyes, and a plump rear end you could fill a barn with. Oh yeah, he reminds me of my mother, all right.
Snap out of it. You're looking at her like she was your mother, for Christ's sake.
Brad, he got a lot of crap for being a sex ed teacher, but I think he'd be an expert on the topic. He's from a Minnesota small town where all there is to do is just drink and screw.
Oh my God.
This is Dad Fights 170. Get some business.
Get some, he says. I love his reference to the Naked Gun movie series.
I like the Dutch reference. I appreciated that.
Yeah. Frank Drebin's partner. The hell was his name? Ed. Frank Drebin was staring at a beautiful woman, and his partner Ed says, "Snap out of it. You're staring at her like she's your mother, for Christ's sake." Hey, WAPA would like folks to know that we could use a few more listeners to get involved with Dad Fights intros. All you need to do is email us. It's hams93x@gmail.com. Give us your name and your phone number, and we'll get you all hooked up. All right. The documentary edition, the 30 for 30 documentary edition of Dad Fights.
In the documentary King's Ransom, one of the biggest trades in sports history is documented. A trade so monumental, it's simply known as the trade. This blockbuster deal sent an iconic player from Edmonton to Los Angeles for
Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky is the correct answer. The trade was such a big deal, the Canadian government tried to block it from happening. Edmonton fans didn't hold any grudge against Gretzky. He got a 4-minute standing ovation his first game back. And then according to Danalysis, although he's still remembered for his wonderful hockey career, most people these days know him from his cameo in Mighty Ducks 2.
I didn't even know he was in that.
Yeah.
Well, Dana just said most people know him then.
I don't know why you got to do that.
Sometimes I just can't help it.
It's just so frustrating. It's frustrating. Oh, I remember seeing Wayne Gretzky crying on television like it was yesterday. Up at that podium talking about how he's moving on to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
You guys know why he went to Los Angeles, don't you? Word. I mean, you know why he went to Los Angeles, right?
His gorgeous wife.
With his wife.
Jeez Louise. Remember that movie she was
Or his
in?
wife, yeah.
I mean, he ain't the first guy to chase some ass, cross country. Remember that movie she was in called American Anthem?
No.
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, 85. Look it up. I swear it was called American Anthem. And tell me if I'm wrong. That is one of the worst movies ever made. Worse than Iron Claw, worse than Get Out, worse than all the other. But his wife in that movie is one of the most gorgeous creatures you'll ever lay eyes on. Tell me I got the name of the movie right.
I'm looking it up.
Oh, it's brutal. All right. A story called Long Gone Summer took a look at the impact these two players had on baseball when the entire country was
McGuire Sosa.
When the entire country was locked in to watch them hit a combined 136 home runs in the summer of 1998. That's one for Randy Shaver, Sammy Sosa, and Mark McGuire. Yeah, and they were all loaded up on steroids. Everybody knows that, and I don't care. That was a lot of fun.
That was great.
Yeah.
1-1.
The series winning time dives into the intense saga of a sharp
Lakers Celtics.
Nope.
Dart fart.
All you, Brad.
Okay.
A sharpshooter who became the ultimate villain in the Big Apple clashing not just with the New York Knicks, but the entire city, including legendary director Spike Lee. Over his 18-year career with the Indiana Pacers, he made every game against New York a must-watch drama.
Reggie Miller.
God darn it. I knew that.
One of the major focuses of the documentary is the famous game where Reggie scored 8 points in 8.9 seconds to lead the Pacers to a Game 1 win over in the Eastern Conference semifinals.
That was one of the most joyful experiences I've ever had watching sports on television, was watching Reggie Miller drive a dagger into those bastards' heart that afternoon. God, that was great. I hated the New York Knicks back then, and I loved Reggie Miller. And wasn't that, I mean, you might never see anything like that ever again.
No.
God, that was great stuff.
I loved when...
Not like that. Not that intense.
Mm-hmm. I loved when the Pacers played the Knicks this year in the playoffs, and Reggie Miller was doing the commentary.
Doing the game,
He was funny.
Yeah, everyone was chanting, F you, Reggie.
Oh, God, that's right.
And he was talking about how much he loved it.
Oh, he loved it. Yeah.
All of Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
F you, Reggie.
And like a wrestling heel, he's just taking it all in. Like, yeah, bring it.
He had a huge smile on his face.
That was such good work by the ESPN producers to put him there, to be like, nope, you're definitely calling this game.
That's awesome.
Oh, God. Was it American Anthem? Did we look that up? And
Yeah, it was.
Okay, good. All right, 2-1 Randy Shaver.
Nope,
I'm ahead.
I got it.
That's what I said. What did I say?
Said 2-1 Randy Shaver.
What is it?
It's
Brad.
me.
Okay,
Yeah.
2-1 Brad Ryder. We mentioned Vincent Kennedy McMahon earlier. He was also heavily featured in the 30...
Nature Boy.
Randy Shaver answered with Nature Boy.
Not a bad guess.
That is incorrect. Brad Ryder, it's all you.
Okay.
Vincent McMahon was also heavily featured in a 30 for 30 documentary about this infamous extreme football league that played its first season in 2001 before it died ugly. It rose from the dead in the year 2020 and recently merged with the United States Football League. Brad Ryder.
XFL.
This is the XFL. You're right. I loved it. I still love it. I love the USFL as well. It's fun. The XFL championship game was originally called the $1 Million Game because that's how much winning players would split. But then someone did the actual arithmetic and figured out the guys weren't making dick. But, of course, they wanted everyone to watch the... so what is that? I don't know. I never have any idea what the score is. 3-1 Brad.
Yeah.
Survive and Advance is a documentary which relives one of the most miraculous runs in college basketball history.
Jim Valvano.
That's all you needed?
Yep.
That's impressive.
I just watched it not that long ago.
Oh, you did?
That's a great one.
Yeah.
According to Daynalysis, with the exception of their blowout win over Utah in the Sweet 16, all of the games were squeakers. They beat Pepperdine by 2 in the opening round, UNLV by just 1 in the second, Virginia by 1 in the Elite 8, and Georgia by 7 in the Final 4.
I mean, again, probably one of the greatest stories ever told. That team, that year, that coach.
Yep.
It was a friggin' miracle. It really was. So now it's 4-1, Brad Ryder?
Yep.
All right, Randy Shaver. Pick up your bag here, son. In this 30 for 30 documentary, it focuses on the life of a Heisman Trophy winning running back.
O.J. Simpson.
Come on.
Ooh.
I heard a dart fart.
Yeah, I had a tough guy and get that one out quickly enough.
Sorry.
He's been using it a lot.
He's only got so many in the chamber.
All you got to do is you just got to shift your weight a little bit. Lift the cheek, Wapple. Brad Ryder shouted out O.J. Simpson. That is incorrect. In this 30 for 30 documentary, Randy Shaver, it focused on the life of a Heisman Trophy winning running back and his goofy-ass decision to retire from the NFL so he could just get high all day long.
Ricky Williams.
Now she's 4-2. He came back. He did this. He did that. He got suspended. He was in the CFL. What the hell's Ricky Williams doing nowadays? Anybody know? I mean, aside from just sitting around geefing himself.
I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Boy, he was a hell of a player. 4-2, Brad.
Step into the arena of muscle, sweat, and pure adrenaline. This larger-than-life show brought the epic battle of David and Goliath to the screen, pitting everyday challengers against a team of fearsome, muscle-bound warriors. A recent 30 for 30 documentary peeled back the curtain on this iconic spectacle, revealing the untold stories of Nitro, Gemini, Ice, Sonny, and more.
Gosh, I don't know. Don't know.
American Gladiators. Oh, it just came to me.
The fart beat you.
Yeah, it did.
You got beat by the
Came
fart.
to me. Yep.
Once again, Brad, always beat by the fart.
You were right behind the fart, Brad.
Oh,
It was
it's so close. The fart just started.
You were directly behind it.
I kept thinking of the Superstars back in the 70s. Remember that show? That's what I was thinking.
Oh,
yeah.
Brad, your mouth was open. Your mouth was open when that happened.
You got a little bit in there.
That was gross.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but I saw it.
Tastes like mustard.
Oh,
Wappled.
Too far.
What? No one's seen the movie
Gladiators.
Step Brothers? Come on. Come on.
Tastes like mustard.
I watched this. It was depressing.
It was really sad.
I loved that show. Those guys weren't treated very well.
No, they were chewed up and spit out.
The big takeaway from the documentary was how the creator and producers of the show basically chewed up and spit out the gladiators. They didn't get much, didn't get paid much. They received zero royalties from all the toys, merchandise, and video games that were featuring their likeness.
That was where they really got screwed. Toys and T-shirts, and they didn't get a dime. I mean, let's all be honest. That show was mostly stupid as hell.
And I didn't realize this. They didn't just do the taped show. They also did live shows at stadiums. So they were doing this like 3, 4, 5 nights a week.
They did a show in a gym in Clara City.
Yeah.
4-2 is the score as we're quizzing Randy and Brad. Dad Fights 170. The subject is some of the great 30 for 30 documentaries over the years. Brad Ryder has 4 correct, Randy Shaver 2. Randy, you can still come back and tie the game. Here we go. This one I think will go quick, but I don't know. This big fella earned the nickname the Bayonne Bleeder, and in 1975, he fell only 19 seconds shy of going the distance in a heavyweight title fight against Muhammad Ali. His performance in that bout was the real-life inspiration for the greatest movie character of all time, Rocky Balboa.
Oh, what's his name?
Can't think of his name either.
Jerry Quarry.
The correct answer is Chuck Wepner.
Oh,
would have never got that.
Chuck Wepner. I thought you guys would dive all over that.
Yeah, darn.
I believe the 30 for 30, was it just called Chuck?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. There was a movie made about Chuck Wepner's life that I recommend anyone watch. Has anyone seen it? I can't think of the name of it. Anyone?
No, I can't think of the name. I'm looking it up, but the 30 for 30 was called The Real Rocky.
Okay, then the movie must have been called Chuck. Look that up. It's really, really good. It's really dark. Chuck Wepner was one out of control sumbitch. Once he gained all that fame from his fight with Ali, he went nuts. But it's really, really interesting. He's still around. He's still living.
Yep, it was called Chuck. You were right.
The movie is called Chuck. All right, check that one out. Randy, you still have an opportunity here.
Okay.
A documentary released last year called I'm Just Here for the Riot captures the chaos that erupted in the streets when heartbreak turned to mayhem. It tells the explosive story of the citywide riots that broke out after a crushing Game 7 loss in the Stanley Cup Finals, where this Canadian NHL team fell to the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, it was the people of Vancouver who went bananas after losing Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Final. I mean, they damn near burned the city to the ground, and there's that infamous picture of that couple making out in the middle of it all. Do you recall that? Look that up. It's a famous picture. The city is just crumbling, and here's this drunk Canadian young couple French kissing in the street or something.
I watched that documentary. They're still together and got a couple kids.
Oh, nice.
But the backlash they even got from that, because it was accused of being staged or fake. Like, they were getting death threats for some reason because everybody in the world is a psycho now.
What?
Yeah.
They were getting threatened for what reason?
Because people thought they were doing it for fame. Like, the whole thing was set up. They were a plant.
Here they are kissing while everyone else is being beaten to death in the streets? Okay. I don't. Well, there you go. Our victory this week goes to Brad Ryder. Unfortunately, we didn't get to talk about Buster Douglas. You know how I love that story. That is a great documentary, a 30 for 30 called 42 to 1. I've talked about it up and down. That is such a great story. And I mentioned, watching Reggie Miller murder the New York Knicks was one of the greatest. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Buster Douglas knocking Mike Tyson into oblivion in February of 1990 is right up there with The Miracle on Ice as the two most incredible things I've ever seen as a sports fan watching on television. I could not believe my eyes, and it was so great. So great. I still get emotional when I watch Douglas's handlers and managers diving on him after he did that. That was so impossible.
Now, was Buster Douglas looking for you in the crowd like Jim Craig was?
He should have been. And Buster Douglas, one hell of a humble, nice guy. So there you go. Nice work, boys. You did very well.
All right.
We got to get going. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Okay.
Sounds good.
We got to take a break ourselves. We'll be back in a few minutes.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
Are you looking to improve your work-life balance with excellent benefits like 401k match and even tuition reimbursement? Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.
The Rolling Stone Music Now podcast gets inside the biggest stories with Rolling Stone senior writer Brian Hyatt.
Guitarist Steve Howe of Yes on the making of Fragile, the birth of Prague.
I was trying to think about playing the guitar without any blues cliches. The golden rule on the Yes album is there would be no do-do-do-do-do-do.
And that was what ended up making it quote-unquote progressive, is if you ignore cliches, then you're headed forward.
That's right.
Rolling Stone Music Now, wherever you listen.
Minnesota State Trooper Gordon Shank.
I called you to report a crime that I don't have nothing to do with. I'm not involved in the crime. I didn't perpetrate the crime.
On the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, surprise, everybody. Well, it was a surprise to me. I've had my head up my ass all week long. Welcome back to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We have visitors joining us in studio, an old pal and hopefully a new one from the Minnesota State Patrol, Lieutenant Gordon Shank, and Lieutenant Mike Lee. Good morning, Mike and Gordo.
Hey.
I got the proper title for you, right, Mike?
That's it.
Lieutenant.
Mike Lee.
Wonderful to have you guys.
Mine's wrong, but that's okay.
Wait a minute, what are you now?
Captain.
Captain. Well, nobody thinks
no
of you
one cares
that way.
about that.
You're still disrespected, aren't you?
That's
Captain Gordon Shank.
I get disrespected at home. I come here.
Your buddies text you while you're on the air and rip you too.
Oh yeah, every day.
Well, I'm sorry.
I don't care.
You just got demoted.
You've been called worse. Yes, that's very true.
What's going on? Great to see you again,
Hey, great
Gordo.
to see you. It's been a while. We've been busy this summer, but I'm here to. Jill has now been promoted to captain, so she's our East Metro.
We
captain.
knew that. We were aware.
I knew. See,
we always call her captain.
Yeah, we were at the party and everything.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't get the invite. That's interesting.
How many captains you got over there?
Endless.
Endless?
I'm kidding. We have a few. There's a few all around the state. You know, we have it broken up into districts. So there's for example, a captain in Thief River Falls, Duluth, St. Cloud. We have a few Metro captains. So
what can a captain do that a lieutenant can't?
So much more. Yeah. And so I'm here to pass it on to the next one. Mike Lee is the lieutenant of our public information. So I'm just here to
pass the baton.
Yeah, I'm. You guys, I'll act like I'm not even here.
Hey,
you guys do your thing.
Do you mind me asking a question? How come all these other people get promoted so much faster than you did, out of curiosity?
You know, I've often thought about that.
Because Jill was lasted 2 weeks before she got a promotion.
I know, and I was here for 5 years?
Yeah,
something like that.
That's embarrassing.
It's a testament to your good work.
Yeah.
Maybe you can come on back.
If you have a question for our state patrolman, 651-989-9393. We've had Captain Shank coming in for years, back when he was a lieutenant.
Yeah.
And fielding questions. If you got something on your mind about the rules of the road, how come I can't do this? What are the rules on the 651-989-9393? Let's get to know Mike now. Mike Lee, how long you been in the business?
Actually, Captain Shank and I are out of the same class. So I started back in 2011.
Okay.
Worked West Metro for a while. Then I was promoted over to East Metro in 2019. And then I've been here in this PIO role for about a couple months, early July.
Are you a Minnesota guy?
I am.
You're from? Where are you from?
I grew up in Shoreview, and
Okay.
I live there now.
That puts you a notch above Shank because he's from Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try not to hold it against him.
Oh, no.
I can only do so much.
So you guys knew each other when you were first getting started.
Yes.
You know what? He's a great friend.
Training and all that, right?
Don't do that. There's been times where I was, you're a young guy, you end up in a pickle. He's let me crash at his house a few times.
Oh, yeah?
He's a great guy.
What are you doing?
Can I ask you something? Why'd you say pickle?
Because I knew that you'd say it earlier, so I had to bring it up
For
again.
anybody who hasn't heard, I was at the state fair. It was a car show at the
Yes.
state fair, and I had a giant pickle, and I was so excited to eat it. I'm talking to a bunch of alpha males here with Captain Shank and some of his partners. And as soon as I walked across the street, I realized, oh my God, I was going for that pickle, that entire conversation. And I had texted you and said, hey, I'm sorry about that. I hope you didn't notice. And you mentioned, oh no, we all noticed.
Yes, this is the talk for a little bit.
So I want to go back to the beginning again where Mike and Gordon knew each other when you were just starting off, you're training to become officers. At any time, Mike, did you think of Gordon, oh, this guy's not going to make it? Or Gordon, did you think that about Mike?
I'll let you go first, and then my answer will be dictated.
No, I remember meeting Mike in the academy. You know, the academy is it's part of like the state patrol. It's kind of stressful. You're in the barracks. You're running around at Camp Ripley. He was a really sharp, squared away kid. I remember meeting him. I'm like, man, this guy's squared away.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I never had that concern with him. But me, I was circling the drain all the time.
Yeah, squeaked by.
That's not true at all.
I think everyone had it pegged that Gordon would be like something to look up to, and he's going to climb the ladder of this agency, and he has. He will continue.
So
to do
Very slowly, yes, he has.
One rung every couple of years.
You saw something in him right away, Mike.
I did.
All right.
Oh boy,
it's very nice of you to say.
More anxiety than Hair Jesus says he has a question about dash cams. Thinking about getting one. In your opinions, are they worth it?
I mean, there's obviously times when we do.
Wait a minute, I thought you were passing the baton.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. You take that.
I speak when I'm told to speak.
Bob will turn his mic off.
Yep, I'm going to cut mine off. You go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, no, I'd say it's personal preference, but yeah, if you feel like you have the desire to buy the dash cam and maybe protect yourself and be able to observe things, and we get some stuff sent in to us through our axons, our evidence log of some unsafe driving behavior. We appreciate that, but I mean, there's no law. You don't have to do anything. I think sometimes it helps your insurance too if you have a dash cam.
I was wondering that, if that's where it comes in the most handy.
When you guys have beer parties, do you sit around and watch dash cam videos of just ridiculous things?
Beer parties. You're going to have to explain that. I'm not quite sure what that means.
What's the funniest thing either one of you have ever seen on a dash cam?
Oh, boy.
You know, one time I did see a guy, and it wasn't mine, but we have to review them because that's part of the roles as supervisors to make sure that everything that troopers are operating within policy, things of that nature. There was an individual that was being investigated for DWI, and he starts doing field sobriety, and you walk in a straight line, and so he's talking about walking in a straight line. Well, he goes, I want to show you something. So he starts walking the line. He says, I want to show you something else, and he does a flip, and he falls down on the ground, and I'm like, oh my God, he just completely ruined his entire.
Beautiful.
Yes. So I mean, it's just funny. You see those things, you're like, you can't make it up.
No.
I'll tell you, I can get lost watching those dash cam videos.
Yeah.
And why is it in Russia there's always a tank that crosses the road? Seems like there's tanks everywhere in Russia.
Everyone just has a personal tank.
That's just a totally different world over there, for God's sake. What about you, Mike? Did you have a great dash cam video story?
I don't know. The one I can think of, unfortunately, it's sent in by a trooper of another trooper sliding down a hill unintentionally and just kind of eating it. So luckily there were no injuries in that one, just a lot of embarrassment.
Cop falls down a hill.
Yeah.
I can see how that could be funny.
Can you ever live something like that down?
You can't. And that's the thing with troopers is that if you have something like we have another trooper that fell on ice. And so they made like a video of it, of him just repeatedly falling on the ice, and they slow motioned it down, like grunting.
Oh,
it's
awesome.
just
That's at the Christmas
That's magical. I mean, that's what makes all the miserable parts of your job worthwhile.
Yeah, so when you see those things, it's pretty funny.
Oh, now that Colonel Langer's gone, longtime chief of the State Patrol,
Yes.
let's talk some trash about him.
All right.
You got anything you want to throw out there?
I don't. He was a pretty straight-laced guy.
Very straight-laced
I didn't
guy.
have much on him, much dirt. He was always on his A game.
It'd be tough to blackmail him for something.
It would.
It?
I think it's nearly impossible.
Kind of a golden boy.
Yes, he's a great leader. He did a great job. We have a great colonel now. When he was here, he was really he was always on his A game. So
yeah, we do miss having him around.
Yeah,
he's a sneakily funny guy. Like you might not realize
very
how funny
dry.
he was.
He's very clever.
Yes, you had to pick up on it, and then you'd be like, he's joking right now.
Yeah,
But it's hard to tell sometimes.
A little bit, but once you get to know him, you realize he's very funny.
We have Captain Gordon Shank and Lieutenant Mike Lee. Mike Lee. Okay, I thought maybe I screwed that. I've been screwing everything else up this morning. In studio with us, taking questions. Josh, you had one over there?
Yeah, so I heard there's going to be a law change here, and so people have questions on motorcycle lane splitting.
Oh, yeah.
What are the rules on that? Who has the right of way? Speeds? How fast can you go? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty tricky law for everyone to understand and for us to enforce as well. Ultimately, the important thing is that it's down to like 10 to 15 miles an hour. I can't remember exactly.
Sorry to interrupt, Mike. Can you get right up on that microphone?
Sure, yeah. I saw Gordon get too close to this mic, and it made me feel uncomfortable.
It did hit me in the face.
This is your first time here. You don't want to be spitting all over the microphones.
No, yeah.
Where Gordon's been here many times, he doesn't care what he leaves behind.
Yep, that's right.
You need to get right up on that
You're
someday.
talking about pickles. I don't know what's going on here.
I brought a banana.
Oh, here we go.
No, gosh.
Thanks, guys.
You were talking about motorcycle lane splitting.
Right, yeah. I think it's down to 10 to 15 miles an hour. Obviously, the motorcyclist has to drive carefully while splitting lanes. But yeah, this is going to be a tricky law. It's already into effect August 1st of this year. So.
Okay. Yeah, because you guys, August 1st, okay. You both made a face when I mentioned, so obviously this is something you're not a fan of, or why the face? WTF?
I was just looking at him to see if he was going to answer or not, or who was going to take it. That's what it was more.
Oh, okay.
And that's what my face looks like.
Yeah. So, but I think, for us, like our job is to interpret the laws that are passed by legislators. So we'll do our best to obviously still promote traffic safety with any laws such as this one. So we'll work through it.
I like this question because it suggests it's going to affect their weekend. How fast do you have to be going before it's considered reckless?
Yeah, is there a number?
Condition dependent?
Yeah, it's a variety of factors. It does depend on the trooper, too. I've seen troopers cite between 20 or so over, but that also factors in other parts of their driving conduct. But then some troopers, will write it at 90 or faster, so it kind of depends on the trooper as well.
Mike Lee, what does a yellow light mean?
Means to be aware of the...
crap.
Not a taxi fan. He's too young.
I was hoping you'd say slow down. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
It's a joke, old television show. What do the blue and yellow light means on the HOV lanes? Is this for troopers to see who's paying and who's cheating?
Correct. I think it's blue and white now, isn't it?
Okay.
It's like a... Is it yellow? Or
it might be amber, too.
So Mike actually worked in that area for a little while in the Easy Pass unit, so he's got some knowledge on that.
I did, yeah. I was there for a couple of years doing that HOV enforcement. Essentially, there's a transponder reader when you go into that lane, and then it'll read the transponder if you are paying for it or if you're not. So it simply indicates if you're paying for it, it'll be a certain color. If you're not, it'll be the other color.
Okay.
So that is what it's for,
yes.
To indicate. Okay.
So if the driver has a blue, if the light flashes blue, they're a valid tag. If no tag's detected, an amber light will light up, and so that just gives the trooper an idea of whether that person should be in that lane or not.
Okay. R6 Jesus wants to know the laws for glow kits on motorcycles. Can you ride with one of those LED glow kits on?
Dude.
Cool.
All right. It does look pretty cool, but doesn't mean it's legal. Yeah, there's only certain colors that are legal while operating your motor vehicle on Minnesota roadways. It can either be white or red, orange for a blinker. But yeah, any of the other colors, like red and blues, obviously that's for us, emergency vehicles and stuff like that. So yeah, there's some restrictions on what colors you can have.
You guys have fans in our listening audience. Now, this is not a question, just a listener who texted in. Wants to give a shout-out to Lieutenant Lee. He's a great leader and mentor. I'd like to thank him for his 10 years of time with the State Patrol Special Response Team. And a shout-out to Captain Shank as well. It was long awaited, but he's an awesome new captain and leading the West Metro with a great sense of humor.
Oh, well, thank
Oh
you.
yeah, you're an awesome guy. That's we knew that. We knew that.
Appreciate
That's
that.
nice to hear.
Very kind words.
Yeah.
What the listeners don't know is we just sent those texts in.
Yeah.
About ourselves. Son of a bitch. Thanks for reading that.
Minnesota State Trooper Gordon Shank.
I called you to report a crime that I don't have nothing to do with. I'm not involved in the crime. I didn't perpetrate the crime.
On the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Our guests in studio. It's the damn cops. Captain Gordon Shank. Sure, you remember him. And a new guy, at least new to us, Lieutenant Mike Lee, both of the Minnesota State Patrol. If you have questions, 651-989-9393 is the text number. Cincinnati Bengals jokes are being texted in.
I knew it.
For Gordon Shank.
It's been a dark time.
How
for
about
me.
your team? Yeah.
Man, I'm at a loss. I'm happy for the Vikings. They're doing really well. It's good for the city. But me, I'm hurting right now.
I'll bet.
Yes.
Deep down inside.
St. Paul Library Truck Jesus has a question I don't think we've ever been asked before.
Perfect. Oh, boy. This is great.
And I actually kind of love this. How long can I stay in a roundabout before a cop pulls me over?
You know what? That's pretty funny because I've seen cars where I think they just realized they went the wrong way and they went in a complete circle, and I'm like, what is this person doing? I don't really know if there's a law on that.
I don't think
Hey,
so.
kids, Big Ben.
That's exactly what I was picturing, Dana.
Just end up making yourself vomit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Over and over.
I got to admit that it's only recently that I'm used to those damn things.
Yeah.
The first couple times, I thought, okay, I'm a grown man and I have no idea what's expected of me here.
They're tricky.
But now it's automatic. But yeah, the first couple times, I was so thrown. I had forgotten all about them.
I have a few of them in Lakeville where I live, and my great aunt was in town from Florida, and so I'm driving, and I don't think they have them in Florida. I don't know if they do or not. But I start going into the roundabout, and she's screaming at me like, "What are we doing? There's cars coming at me."
Right.
Relax. But for someone that doesn't deal with them, it's probably like an anxiety fear factor thing. I don't know.
Oh, funny.
Sure seems when they're new, people aren't really
Yes.
excited about it.
So she was shouting at an individual who trained for all of
Yeah,
this,
she's
right?
shouting at me like,
Right.
like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna drive blindlessly into this here. Let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Interesting question here, texted in from a listener. You guys tell me, is it true that only state troopers have the authority to perform traffic stops on VDL vehicles like school buses and other buses?
No.
Okay, that's kind of
Local,
what I thought. Local cops can pull over. I don't know. Some people, they get these ideas, but...
Now, what we do have in the state patrols, we have school bus inspectors. Those are both state troopers, and we have a civilian position that does that as well. So basically, they go to the school bus companies and they inspect their buses randomly, or if there's an issue with it, like there's a mechanical defect. Those are things that we do specialize in. But, I mean, every law enforcement officer has the ability to, every licensed one has the ability to make a traffic stop on a school bus.
Are there
or something
seat belts on school buses nowadays?
At least they're not for my kids.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't see
On
them
some of them.
Some buses.
Yeah.
On the good ones, the nicer schools have the seatbelts.
I thought I heard somewheres that they were going to try to put that together from one end of town to the other. Seatbelts on the buses. Oh my God! I mean, boy, we would have fought to the death for that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
My kid just came home yesterday, and my daughter, she's the snitch of the family, and she has like a list every day. She's like, well, your son, which is her brother, he was standing up and got yelled at repeatedly. And I'm like, oh my God, could you imagine trying to belt him down?
Well, I mean, yeah. When we were kids, what would we have done if we couldn't just run wild
Yes.
up and down the school bus and hopping over seats and things like that? That
Yes.
was some of the best times of our lives.
We're getting a lot of questions on lights. Light bars. Can you drive with your LED light bar on?
LED light bar.
That's a good
Mike
question.
Lee. Question to you, Mike Lee.
Man, I feel like I should pass this off to Shank, but
I'm out. I'm not even here.
I fall under
Don't
commercial
exist.
vehicle. Yeah, the important thing is that your headlights need to project a certain amount of lumens when it's appropriate. Before sunrise, after sunset, inclement weather, all that stuff. So just make sure the proper amount of lumens are displayed. But yeah, that's a good question. I'll probably have to look that up and see what the answer.
Yeah,
is.
there's people are.
If I'm
And I think it depends.
invited back.
Like if they have if their light bar is like a flashing light bar, like you can't have that. Like I think we'd need to know the specifics of what they specifically have. But a lot of things fall under prohibited lights, and a lot of the times people, let's be honest, they try to put things on their vehicle that they probably shouldn't have. So just know that if you have something that you're like, I think this might be illegal, it probably is.
Okay. Okay.
Because people were texting on both sides. Some
Yeah.
people want to know, can I turn mine on when I'm driving? And other people are like, I absolutely hate them. How is it legal to have those things on? You know, maybe it blinds some folks. I'm not sure.
I'll tell you what, you guys are both long-time veterans of law enforcement. We always get people texting in wanting to know, how can I land that gig?
Yeah.
And you've mentioned many times on the program before, Gordon, how folks can get themselves involved.
Yeah, you go ahead, Mike. You're the pitch guy now.
Yeah, thanks.
You got to get used to this, Mike.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I'll ever get used to anything. I just get told what to do. Yeah, so our application process is closed. However, I think it's going to open back up towards the end of the year.
Mhm.
So there's a couple options we have. We have the LEADO program where we pay an hourly wage for you to attend school, and we'll pay for your schooling to get a degree. And then you'll go to our academy.
Would you recommend any universities? You talk about, you'll pay for the individual to get a degree.
So basically what we do is we pay for your skills, your peace officer training. So like Hennepin Tech or Rasmussen, wherever, and we have contracts where we basically already have hired the person. And that's
Mhm.
what I did. Like when I went to Hennepin Tech, but I was paid by the State Patrol. And I already had a 2 or 4 year degree. So you can have a degree in anything.
Mhm.
And so that's what Lieutenant Lee's talking about. We have that opportunity. And so then after we pay for your peace officer training, you go to our State Patrol Academy. You're already an employee, you're already hired. It's just we give you an opportunity for maybe someone that's interested in law enforcement that doesn't already have that. Let's say they want to change in what they're doing. They want to change in their career in their 30s, 40s. We even have people in their 50s that join the State Patrol. So that's one of the options we have. And that's on mntrooper.com, all of that stuff. And the other option is someone that already has those qualifications. They've already paid for their peace officer training. They can join the State Patrol, and they just jump right into the academy.
I just turned 53 years old. I
You can
cannot
join.
imagine.
Come on
I
over.
cannot
Yeah.
imagine how horribly I would fail on day one.
That academy, it's eye-opening.
That's
It's a
what
lot
we've
of fun.
heard. We've heard it's really difficult. Like
lot
I'm
of fun.
not, I know there's like a joking rivalry between you guys and city cops, and
Yep.
like even the city cops I've talked to said that's no joke. Their academy's for real.
It's challenging, but it's rewarding too, and it puts you in a great position when you come out of the academy that you're prepared to, focus on traffic safety, being a state trooper, all of those things. We work alone a lot. There's troopers in Greater Minnesota that don't have help for 30 to 45 minutes from where they're at. So it really preps you for being able to work independently and focus on the things that we need to do in this agency.
There you go. So we're going to see.
Are you going to apply? Is that what
I would be worthless. I think I could probably. What's the word? I was always when I was in school. They always said you're not blanking.
Applying yourself?
Applying yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think I could apply myself enough to learn the laws. The written stuff. I think I could apply myself well enough. But when it came time to run. Or any of the physical, I'd be absolutely gassed.
Picturing you in that outfit.
Be terrible. I
too.
can't run. I can't run.
Oh, you Nick in the hat would be great.
With the flip, can I wear flip flops?
Only on Fridays.
It's usually like in the winter too, so I don't know if you want to wear flip-flops.
Winter time. See, I
Yeah.
hate winter now. I just stay in. Josh and I just stay inside in the winter now. We're
I
gonna.
always thought like if I was going to speed, maybe I could get away with it a little more if there's some snow on the ground or it's raining because obviously they want you slowing down even further, but also then the cops got to think about, do I really want to get out of the car?
That's a terrible time to speed.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think I know enough cops to know that they are thinking, boy, I don't know, it's really cold out there.
I really don't want to get out of my car right now.
Yeah, the squad's so nice and warm.
Yep.
Well, welcome to the mix, Mike Lee. It's really nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to be on here. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we hope to see more of you. We're going to see more of you and less of Gordon Shank.
That's right.
Mike, did Gordon tell you anything about us before you guys got here?
All good things.
Yeah?
All good things.
Come on. What did he say?
I don't think I can use the words he used.
Unbelievable. I knew it. We say the same things about Gordon.
I believe it.
Thanks, boys, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Nice
very
to
much
meet
for
you, Mr.
coming in.
Lee.
Have a great weekend.
Congratulations to Millennial Steel Cutter Jesus closing on a house today. Concrete Truck Parts Jesus texted in a happy 10th anniversary shout out to his wife, who he said never listens to the show anyway, so probably won't hear it. Happy birthday shout out to Nate, 49er Big Equipment Operator Jesus from Retired Air Force Jesus, and happy birthdays to Crime Scene Cleanup Jesus, Eric the Bullman Jesus, and Timmy Tampons Jesus.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air is looking for an accounting administrator and customer service representatives to join their team. Learn more at standardheating.com/careers today.